3, 2.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Dark Shadowdaze. I'm your host, Gentleman Gamemaster, and this is the party. This is the crew that makes it happen. We are playing in the Cursed Lands of Barovia, picking back up where we have this party, of course, who is the adversaries of the great and ominous Devil Strahd. Today we pick back up on a place where the characters have a lot of things to do. So I'll turn it over to them and let them, you can see that we actually don't have the full crew. There's usually 5 of us. So we're down our Dragonborn, our red, burly Dragonborn, Bavo, who is there for the party and all things. And then we're down our kind of spunky, we'll bash you over the head quickly with, and make quick work of you with her great axe. Our paladin, Oathbreaker, red-haired dwarf, Nikki, who plays Eldith, so Eddie, who plays Babel. So those 2 characters are out today, but we're still gonna kind of just keep them in the background for today's episode until I can figure out what to do with them. But so I'll just kind of treat them like NPCs. But let's meet. I'll go the way I can see you in my gallery. We'll go that way. So kick it off for us. Just explain who you're playing, Nick, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, I'm playing Tav, the Drunken Monk. He is a person that wants to help those that are in need. And he is an Aasimar.
Awesome.
Although, unlike a lot of Aasimars, he is not inclined to hate things that are evil by nature.
Yes. Great. And I like, and see, now that we have a few of these up on YouTube too, as well on Storm Giant Games, as well as they're on Twitch, we don't have to do as the long, drawn out version of them, because people will be able to go back and get who they are. But just kind of until we have images and stuff, these refreshers are good to kind of know who we're playing. So that's nice, quick, and succinct. Eric.
Yes, I'm playing Calden, the human cleric. He is a priest of the Morning Lord. Probably about 30, humble guy. Wants to stop injustice. A little naive, but well-meaning.
Awesome. Yes. And last but not least, Josh.
I'm playing Einar, the rough and tumble dwarven valor bard, who does what he thinks is right when it's right. And
good stuff. Yeah. This is definitely going to be a 3, a kind of a trifecta here of different ideals. I can see kind of like figuring out where they're going to take this party. So I'm just as interested as you guys, and that's pretty exciting. I'll do a quick recap and then I'll ask if anybody wants to just add anything to this. For the past maybe couple episodes, we've been in the town of Vallaki. We know that the party has brought Irina there. She is the stepdaughter of the young, who's starting to become a little more heroic, is Mark the Lesser. He's been called the Lesser in his own town because he doesn't live up to his father's name, the Burgomaster, but he's trying. But he does care a lot about his sister, and she has been starting to become wooed by Strahd, and she's very strong in her nature, but we've been watching her countenance kind of change. Not to say she's becoming a full damsel in distress, but it's almost very unlike her to be so, just outside of her character, kind of being very independent to or kind of feeling she's starting to kind of seem to others as though she's a little lost. And they want to bring her there because they believe that this is happening due to Strahd's trying to kind of have some kind of power over her. They bring her to the church, and you meet Father Lucian there in Vallaki. She's supposed to be protected there because the church is consecrated by the sacred bones of an old saint of St. Andrew. Well, we find out the bones are not there, and it has something to do with a long plot with one of the older teens who stole them because he wanted some money. He didn't think it was a big deal. He's heartbroken over what he did, and the party has set out to find the bones. In addition, they've all got a ton of other things to do, as they've got tons of other requests. And the last thing we left off on is where they've been staying. One of the first requests they got in the town was by the innkeepers, because of course they were staying at the inn. The innkeeper was Urin Mardukov and his wife and his 2 sons And there's always been something a little strange about them, but after talking to the party and spending some time with the party, and specifically something the party said about the Raven Queen, I believe it was Einar, it led them to actually share their secret that they haven't shared with anyone in generations, that they are were-ravens. And they showed everyone like transforming into them. And that's where we left off. And so the party's watching this horrifically on the same night after they've just got really nice and dapper, and they're about to be on their way to go meet the Baron of Vallaki, whose son, we believe, has eyes for Irina. If I left any, I'm sure I left a lot of other stuff out with all the side quests. If anybody else wants to add anything to make sure that you're all caught up, maybe each one of you want to add something that's kind of particularly important to your character right now, maybe feel free to do that.
Well, going into the doll maker shop was quite an experience.
Bixby.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And I think that was a little bit of kind of like a bonding moment for Tav, because he found something that kind of relates to where he was from. So I think that's something that stand out for him.
Yes. And he bought that
I bought the straw doll. Yeah, he bought the straw doll.
Awesome. And if not, there doesn't have to be anything else, but I just kind of wondering if anybody else wants to add anything to my recap. If not, we'll just...
There's also a tribe staying right outside the walls of Vallaki that seem to lean towards supporting Strahd, that Einar is looking to erode that support and see if he can draft new members for this great army of light that he's building in his head.
Yes, and they are the Vistani. You found the leader, one of two leaders, which is Luvash. You found his daughter, Abigail, and brought her back. That the drunkard of the town was going to sacrifice her to the lake. So thank God you guys were there to save the child. You guys have actually become saviors of children in a great way right now, which probably leads to Calden's addition here.
Yeah, and I know you touched on it, but a little more in depth. Yeah, there's definitely some not fond feelings of this Baron, forcing people to be happy and putting him in the stocks. I mean, that's all we really heard. There's more details, I'm sure, but regardless, seeing children in there is upsetting him, but so many things have been pulling the party in different directions. It's been difficult to attend to.
I hear you.
Recently expressed his unhappiness with that.
I understand. So all powerful motivations here from our party that we have, and then Bavo and Eldith are still with them, and they will kind of like turn the lead over to our characters here. And no cold open for today. We're just literally going to welcome to Dark Shadowdaze. So we'll start the opening, and then we'll get right back into where we left off. So I'll go ahead and share that now. All right, guys, let's kick it off.
Is this just what the resurrection feels like? From the other side, from the other side, from the other side.
yeah, right now, guys, we don't make any money. We do this for fun. I share this for fun, so I know that I don't own the music for those songs. Like, shared that song is from the group Sunlux. It is called Resurrection, and I like the opening, so they just kind of help me get myself into the right mindset. Something about that last shot there with the goat melding with the city. I didn't do it on purpose, but it kind of gives me a little chill every time. So let's go ahead and kick things off. So we open our scene, and the party just witnessed, just moments ago, the entire Mardukov family contort, turning into literally beaks coming out of their mouth, pulling back their faces as though they were like leather skin-like hoods, throwing that skin on the ground, and becoming these large were-ravens, the kids chattering around these ravens with 2 human legs. But now the horror has settled down, and we open the scene kind of pulling sideways on a gentleman holding a cup, whether there's coffee in there, whiskey, or some other substance we don't know, as he sips. We'll say it steams a bit, so it might even be kind of like an Irish coffee. It might have both. And based on this sandy, peppered beard, it is Mardukov, and you can tell that he's kind of now reclaimed his purple robe and draped it on him, and you can kind of tell by his bare feet there on the cold earth that he's probably nude under this one drapery. Some of his clothes are cascaded over to the side of the room. The wife has resumed her form as well and taken her cloak, and the party's kind of sitting there across from him in the cellar with that light kind of dimly lighting them all. A few bottles of great mash and dragon crush that are left, the last few barrels of wine that the Blue Water Inn has. And so he sips, and in the background 2 ravens continue to flutter around and call at each other, and the party knows that those are the 2 sons who have yet to reclaim their form, who've actually turned into they've turned into full ravens, their animal form, and so they just flutter around. Stop it! And the father says, and the 2 sons kind of quiet down and perch on a set of barrels in the corner. And so Urine looks across at Bavo and Tav and Calden, and Bavo leans on against the wall in the corner, and Eldith is close by him, but he looks over at Einar, like I said, Calden and Tav, and I'm sure there are a lot of questions you may have, and but I figured showing you this would let you know how serious I am. Like I said, would you like me to tell you a story, or would you like to ask me some questions?
I will listen to your story. I just need a drink, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we're getting low here. And he kind of wavers to his wife, and she throws out a bottle, and she starts to, uncork it. And he goes, "These were meant to be thrown away. They were this is a bad batch. As you can know, we're running so lean on the wine." And I imagine that as he's trying to explain, this is not good wine, Tavis snatches it away. It's just like, wine is like pouring down his face, and he goes, "Okay, enjoy it."
I don't mean to offend, but this new revelation makes your wine problems seem rather small.
It does. You are right there. See, that is the story that I will tell you, is that, like I've told you before, heroes like your kind, adventurers, come and they go. But just a little over a day ago, another group had come. That before they had come through, I had a few of my scout ravens flying the local area. There was some talk amongst the woven hunters that we were having not only did we have a dire wolf problem, but now we had a troll issue. And
Mm.
there happened to be 2 in the nearby forest. So we had been doing scouts to make sure that they were not coming too close to Valaki. And on a night scouting, I was actually out there myself. I saw this group fighting valiantly and losing a terrible battle, might I add. They were going to die. And I thought, well, I did need another shipment of wine that had not come through from the Wizard Winery. And so I saved them. Did not know much about them, but after talking to them, and of course we've had this conversation before, describing them, they were the group that you say you were looking for. See, that next morning, I offered them the same job I offered you. And unlike diddly-daddling their feet like you are, they accepted. He kind of does that with a joke, kind of a wink and glitter in the eye, but he goes, you see, though, the day they left, it takes about a full day's ride, almost maybe a good 8 hours to get to the Wizard Winery. So I'm sure they would have gotten there under the cover of night. And then that night, you arrived. And you see, they have yet to come back. You've been here and they've not returned. And I've never seen an adventurer turn down gold. So that got me thinking something had to be wrong. Why hadn't they returned? So I sent my scouts to at least go take a look at the winery, to take a look and see what my father was up to. You see, I am a bit estranged, and we have a relationship where, let's just say, I am not as welcome on my father's grounds. And my scouts, 4 real ravens, 1 like myself, they did not return. So you see here, that has me thinking that trouble is afoot. There has to be foul play. And I am starting to worry about, as much as me and my father do not see eye to eye, I don't want any ill to befall him. I wouldn't have even done this had it not been for one of you mentioning the Raven Queen. You see, my father used to always speak of the Raven Queen. He said that he would have dreams about this strong woman, this form, a woman who wore a gown made of ravens, not dead ones, but of living ravens. And he said he kind of, in his dreams, he always knew that in a weird way, we were all a part of that connection to her, to that flowing gown. And I just thought it was an old story the old man told me. He would say that she gave us a reason to fight Strahd. And like I said, while I don't know whether to completely believe you've met this thing, it's the thing is, like, I've never heard that name outside of my own father, which lets me know this could be real. And so I have shown myself fully here. He kind of looks around his family. And I believe that you're right, Einar, as you said. This goes beyond the wine. But don't get me wrong. The wine is important. I think you need to understand something here. The people of Barovia, the people of this land, you see, the wine is all they have. It brings the only joy, unless you want that fake joy that comes from those damn dream pies. Looks around. Looks like none of you have, I don't smell it on you. Maybe none of you have tried those, but it uplifts most people. And I would think that even Strahd doesn't want people to have that joy. And so, yes, but beyond that, I worry for my family right now. I worry for their well-being. And I ask for you to reconsider going to the winery a bit early. But I know you have important things. You have commitments that you have made, and I am a man of my word, and I understand that sometimes You must do your commitments in order. But I wanted you to understand how dire this is.
Yes, I see your point and the direness of the situation, and I look around my companions, and these people of this area are clearly in despair.
Yeah.
And that's why they're easy to control. Ignorance is bliss. I think my companions were in agreement. Maybe we should help them. We do have to attend the Baron's meeting, as you know.
Wanted to make sure that I did this before you still and you all know that you still all have about 30 minutes before you need to be there, so you got a little bit of time. We'll say like the dinner meeting is like say it's probably like 8 p.m. It's around 7:30. Guys, don't come from my head. If I said something different in the last episode, I might have. Maybe I said 6. I don't know. Guess what? It just got retconned. It's 8 now.
I kind of look over at Tav and Einar. Anything else?
I was always in agreement of heading to the winery.
Of course,
These people, myself included, get some joy out of this.
You sharing your true form to us shows that you have trusted us. I can, by the way you've expressed this, this is a very private thing. Does the last party know about this? The party
they
that
do.
came in?
Okay. I did not share this.
No, you did not. Okay.
They do not know. And I will add that not only the wine itself. If you haven't looking around, if you've looked around lately, you notice that while there are a few wildlife, we have some horses. If you've been traveling, I don't know if you noticed, but the birds don't chirp as loudly here. Even the bugs don't crit as much. It is because the ground is cursed here in Barovia. It does not yield the best vegetables and soil. We've had even years of famine. That's why I only serve that awful beet stew, and the wolves that we kill are the meat that we are able to provide. So cattle is even scarce. Because of that, the fact that we can actually grow wine is a very special thing. Our family, the Martikovs, we know this. Most people don't, but it's a long story. But 3 magical gems were bestowed to us long ago. Those gems were our ancestors. Planted them in the ground. They're large, acorn-like rubies, green. They shine with a very ghastly glow. It would change the soil. It made the soil fertile. It allowed us to create the fields and to create the beautiful fields of grapes and to create the wine that we produce. And so, that is something also that I've now shared with you that many do not know. When he takes another drink.
That is an interesting set of stones right there. And I'm sorry, where are they now? Did I miss that?
They should. I mean, they are all planted in various fields at the Wizard's Winery. Like I said, about a full daylight's ride. Or travel from here, maybe a little bit shorter if you had horses. But
well, at the very least, I believe you have made your cause more important than the other noble lady who has invited us. Rather oddly, if I remember, to her dinner.
The other lady?
Another noblewoman of Valaki.
Fiona.
That sounds
the
right.
Watcher.
Yeah, Theon.
Yes, her family had a very strong standing. They've lost most of it, financial troubles over the years, and I don't think that the new Baron likes her all too well. They don't get along. So I imagine if she is asking you to dinner, it is about getting some kind of political sway over the Baron. But I'll tell you this, while I don't know much about that family, they are very secretive. Us ravens, we see everything that goes on here, or as much as we can. And I can tell you to watch her, because their windows are always slatted and always closed. And most of the murmuring, most of what I know, people say she's in bed with the devil Strahd, and that she, one would even say worships Zarovich. I've also even heard rumors that a great treasure is in her home, something that would help us win a war against Strahd. Now you understand, when you hear these things as a Martikov, our family has dwindled over the years. We've been told we were supposed to be the ones to fight against this vile evil, but we don't have the numbers. And honestly, we have gone into a state of preservation, and that's why we don't share who we are, because it puts a target on our back. And so it is why, as much as you would probably want to ask, well, why aren't you doing anything about this? It's because we stay vigilant, we stay the eye, but not the hand that will deal the blow against you.
Einar. Dav turns to Einar. This matter seems much more important.
Indeed, he has almost told us once again not to go for the wine by dropping an even greater prize in front of our faces.
And then Bavo kind of steps up and he goes, but shouldn't we remember that, it's kind of, you see that smoke kind of come out of his red, long, dragon-born nostrils, kind of cracks the bones in his back. But what about finding the bones of St. Andrew? Irina and Ismark Irina is, open to, she is vulnerable every day that we leave it this way.
Not just
Still don't
Irina.
have any information on the bones.
No, we do not. I agree. Even though
He kind of tucks his head like, fair enough, and he kind of leans back against the wall.
I agree, Tav. Yeah, and Bavo, you're right. That is probably the most important, but we have to take what is in front of us at this moment. I think our meeting, and I look at Markov, our union is not a coincidence. I mean, you said so yourself. Your family is meant to stand up to Strahd, and I believe that's why we are here. And for you to reveal your true selves to us required a great amount of trust, and we appreciate that. I think it would be dishonorable for us to not help you.
Yes.
I have a proposal.
Yes.
I'm ears.
Instead of any material reward for assisting you with this winery, what could make it a very valuable use of our time was if you were to use your ravens to search for clues on the location of the bones for us while we are on that mission.
Yes.
That way, with your help, we could, metaphorically, kill two Strahds with one bone.
I like that. And he kind of raises his glass to you. Einar kind of a clinks with a cheers. And he goes, well, I'm not one to put my own family in danger, but I will tell you this. I will be doing it myself. I'll take to the sky at night, under cover of dark, and maybe during the day as well, to see what I can find for my scouts. So he kind of makes you almost like think back, called into all those ravens that are outside of the blue. Maybe like 5 or 6 are kind of like huddled outside the awning overhead. And you notice maybe in the past day, kind of recollection comes back. He goes, you notice there's not any left. That's because they're all out. Now, I don't know what fate has befallen them, but it is very unlike them to not return. And so I will do my due diligence and put myself on the line and see what I can find for you. For that matter, I will try to be your eyes and ears going forth and let you know anything that I find that's going on here in Vallaki. And the way I will make that a gamified is that every 24 hours, I'll roll a d20, and based on how high I roll, like 10, 15, 20, 20 up, when you return to the inn every day, there will be some new piece of information based on how well he rolled, how basically, signifying how he sought out information. There might be something for you. So if you roll like a 5, maybe it's nothing. Maybe a 10 is something pretty interesting of a side quest. Natural 20 or up might be some very vital information.
So, all right. So
Okay.
we have the dinner tonight. We will meet with the Baron and hopefully survive the encounter, because even in Barovia, I've learned that even simple dinners are not exciting or safe events.
Yeah, we should definitely meet with this Baron that everyone's talking about. All will be well, and that's Eldith. That's my interpretation of Eldith. kind of.
I look over at Einar and Tom, and I said, I didn't give this much thought, but what if they serve us those pies? Yes, I'll be rude and deny it.
And then upon the morning, after, if we have survived another harrowing encounter with unknown strangers, then we will leave for the winery in the morning.
Agreed.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
The sooner the better.
Sooner
Right.
than later. And so it seems that our party has made their decision, and Mardukov kind of tucks his head, and his wife all give you kind of affirmations through their countenance. Thank you. Handshakes are made all around as a new kind of bond is created here in the basement of the Blue Water Inn. You all step into the night air. The streets are kind of cold and empty, and Vallaki takes on, while not in a prestigious, not like these long towers, but just the steeples of each home, takes on a kind of an eerie Victorian kind of feel at night. The fog kind of wafts through the streets. You don't see too many people walking down the cobblestone paths. You guys are led, the pathway. You've been already pointed in the right direction to the Baron's estate. Einar's, Calden's, cloak and robes are pristine. Like you said, that lavender, as you described how you got set up last time, is that symbol is front and center, showing in gold, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Tav has put himself together, kind of pulled his hair back, still has his cask on his side, and quite frankly, I'm sure filled up on whatever he found downstairs.
That the not so great wine, but still.
And it had it almost tastes, honestly, it tastes like vinegar. You ever have a bad bottle of wine in court? It's just like a bottle of vinegar. It still does the same thing, but it is not good.
Full fermentation.
Full fermentation.
Taking like a swig of it and being really pumped up, we're going to the winery tomorrow. Yeah.
Nice. And Arnard's breastplate is nice and shined, and his instrument is kind of ready to go, and you all kind of march through streets up. If I don't forget, Bavo has his ornamentations on his pecs, front and center. For some reason, I want to imagine there's a chain that attaches to each one of them.
There's gotta be.
And of course, Eldith's gallant, very red, vibrant cape kind of flows. Her armor is nice and shiny. Her weapon strapped to her back. Her red hair kind of blowing in the wind, maybe braided down. And you guys approach the home. Now, the house of the Burgomaster is a pretty beautiful estate. This mansion has walls of plastered stone that display many scars of where the plastering has kind of fallen away from age and neglect. Drapes cover every window, including a large arched opening above the mansion's double entrance doors. And as you approach, there's a kind of a mini courtyard, like I said, with a couple of large stone pots, almost the size of a person, with trees in them. In as you get this it's not very huge. I would say it's before you get to the archway of the doors, maybe 40 feet by 40 feet, this just kind of open area. And as you approach, you see that people are working here in the middle of the, as the sun is just set. But there are both men and women. I wouldn't call them peasants, but most like the common folk, who are bringing bales and bales of like wicker and like hay and like sticks and like dropping them, and they all will be well as they pass each other, and they're bringing them and they're all stacking them here in this courtyard. And then there at the front door, there's a gentleman who kind of has white gloves on, is dressed very well, and white buttoned up, a little frilly shirt, and a nice jacket. Almost looks like if you look a little bit closer, it might be like velvet or something like that. And he just seems to be maybe a form of help, maybe a butler, but he's watching the people. He goes, no, put that there. And he says, one more inside, and the two front doors are large or open, and so you can see indoors what would be a small vestibule or a foyer, and in that foyer you can see that people are, some of them are even bringing some of them indoors and stacking these bales of sticks, and this man is kind of giving orders and where they go. And as you approach, he kind of reaches over and spots and goes, looking at you, you must be our guest for the evening.
That we are. Are you to show us the way?
I am. This way, please. He says, don't mind, things are in a bit of disarray as we are preparing, as you all I'm sure know, for the great festival at the end of the weekend, the Blazing Sun. It is going to be awesome. It is going to be, all is going to be well. And he kind of leads you in. Is anyone saying anything or new as he's kind of leading you in? He's leading you in to like a foyer area, like I said. And this beautiful foyer is, like I said, pretty decked out, beautiful, like kind of antique furniture. And there is a doorway. He says, we'll be sitting in here this evening. This is our parlor area. And there's a long table set for 5 settings, nice silvers and fine like pottery around the room, sitting on shelves, like kind of fine china. And he says, yes, feel free to take a seat wherever you like, just not the head of the table. There's 2 seats at the head of the table. That is for the Baron and his wife. Yes, and then there it says, and then the seat over here, this will be for the son Victor. And he says, this seat here is for Irina. And of course, Irina and Ismark are with you. They both have dressed accordingly. Irina is dressed very well, and sure, whatever she kind of clothes she came like packed with. I'll say her kind of finest dress is something she wears over. It's kind of a burgundy, full top down burgundy kind of a dress, and you can tell she's a little uncomfortable with it. She hates being super formal. And she's kind of hurt. Every now and then she mumbles under her breath to Ismark, like, do we really need to do this? He says, we should at least be courteous. And Ismark, we should be courteous while we're here. I know it's weird, people are creepy, but look, we've got good, they're going to take care of us. And so yeah, as you guys sit down, maybe what do you guys do? What are you guys doing? Maybe saying to each other as you wait. And so right now, the Prime Minister, the butler, is just saying the Baron will be out momentarily.
So when I look, go ahead.
You first.
I look around, and the place is pretty extravagant. I mean, in comparison to
everything else, yes, they pretty much top tier the resources in the town in this building for sure.
Okay.
It's still a bit weathered, it's still a bit old,
sure,
but definitely there's wealth here.
Okay.
So is it just us here right now in the parlor room?
Yes, it is just you.
So I turn to Einar and I say, what do you think the chances are of rallying the people with this guy in charge?
That is what I'm hoping to have a conversation with him about. I mean, nothing out in the open, but I want to take a read of where he stands on such an issue. Because if he really cares about everything being well, then first person to heal about that is Strahd.
That's what I was thinking.
then Einar's also going to lean over to Calden, and in his loud whisper that he attempts, I am worried about gathering all this wicker and all these
Did we lose him? Did
I
we lose
think
him?
we lost him.
Oh no, me?
The Einar.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I know.
Einar. Oh yeah, because I was waiting. I was like, did I?
flammable materials.
Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Good.
Hey, yeah, you froze right when you said, right when you're about
The
to spill
wicker.
everything. The wicker, thank you.
So
Yeah, it was good. I was excited. Go ahead.
I'm worried that they're using all these burnable materials, and are you at all worried that they're going to attempt to burn children or something, or this glorious fire festival?
I'll be honest, my mind hasn't gone that dark yet, but I know what you and Tav need. You want people to rally behind or against Strahd, which I'm all for. But I think, and maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but talking to him about that, I don't know if it's going to be very successful. This is a guy who puts children in the stocks. He's saying all will be well. He has a festival every week. He's forcing these people into delusions. And maybe I'm assuming too much, but I don't think I am.
I understand your reservations, but as we have seen, Barovia is a dark place, and the people it produces have a great darkness in them.
You're right. I can't judge. I haven't grown up in this situation. You're right.
So-
You don't know what you would do, but
And as you were
I don't
talking,
know.
a couple of women are like walking around, like maidservants in there, or waiters, and they're bringing like some metal pots out and like serving, putting them all on the plates around you, and they bring take the top off, and there is a nice hot kind of a roux, like a red stew in front of you that actually smells pretty inviting. Very almost has a. I wouldn't say like a bisque, like almost like a tomato bisque kind of like smell, aroma to it. She says, "This was our first, course for the evening, sir," and they're just kind of putting those and also setting providing you your spoons, and then as they're moving out of the room to kind of go back into whatever maybe kitchenette area, that butler comes out and goes, "Pump, pump, 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 pump," introducing our great Baron Valakovich, the great man who brings happiness to the town of Valaki, who is the light in the darkness. The Valakoviches. And out of this there's like two little steps into the room. The Baron appears in this red gallant, robe, and very fine. And beside him are these two huge black mastiffs. And then flanking to his side is his wife. Her face is powdered as white as can be. She's got very red lips and a little black dot in her cheek. Her hair is white, done all up. And on the other side is his young son, who's wearing all blue for the evening. His socks pulled up very high. And he is looking with a nice little smile towards Irina. And they walk into the room, and the son goes and takes a seat on one side of the table. The Baron walks up, and his dogs, and one of them kind of, as it sniffs in the room, one of them just looks at, growls at Calden, another one growls at Einar, and he goes, "Oh, that's enough. Nope. Poop and doop. Stop it." And then they go and they sit off in in the corner of the room. There's a nice fire going behind the Baron. He sits down, and before he sits, he kind of looks for a moment. Like his son sits down, his wife goes and sits, and he's looking at all you in a particular order. And then the butler goes,
Stands.
So everyone stands. And then the Baron sits down.
Okay.
And then he asks for you guys to all sit.
I nod and say, yeah.
Sit back
Excellent.
down.
Well, I thank you for coming. I am as you I'm sure quite know, the Baron Valakovich. This is my wife, Lydia. And that is my son, Victor, who is actually, I will say, made this possible this evening, as I don't normally see outsiders, but we don't get too many beauties that come through like the one sitting there on the end. and my son, he has great taste. And so, when they said all of you would be able to stop in, and I did hear of some fantastical things that were done, and I had to know for myself what it was. I hear someone sprouted wings and made, people happy as they came into the town. I wanted to know who was doing this.
And Tav raises his hand up a bit.
That
It
was
is
you,
me.
huh? All right. He says, now I'm hearing a lot of people saying talks of angels and gods. Shouldn't let that get too carried away. There are no angels and gods around here. I mean, I'm pretty godlike myself, but that should be the only, right? And his wife goes, ha, 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 yes, you are. And she every now and then she's laughs, and he's not even telling jokes. She's laughs, and but he goes, yeah. So you get this feeling in a way that he's complimenting you, but he's also watch it. A little bit. You get a little bit of that, Tav. And so
he's flexing his muscles.
A little bit, yeah.
Figuratively.
Figuratively, yeah. Yes, absolutely. But
okay.
So you're all sitting there. So it says, feel free to tell me what has brought you all to the Great Valaki.
Einar?
Greetings, Honorable Baron. It is a pleasure for us to sit in your company in this lovely town that you truly have made a light in the darkness, bro.
All is well.
All is well, Baron. And we are here, of course, at your behest, guarding and guiding Arena and Ismark to safety, to the church, to meet with the father in the town.
Yes.
So, while we are here, we are doing whatever we can to assist the town. Just things that would be below the station of you or your honorable guards. Small things that we can take care of to better Valaki.
Well, I appreciate that. Good. And this Irina, I hear she is from the Borovia. And Victor says, yes, Father, she is. But as you can see, she is not. She is not clearly a Borovian. She was the daughter of the burgomaster there, correct? Yes, but she's adopted. Yes, okay. It just means that we don't know where her bloodline goes.
Can I do an insight check just to see how Irina's doing right now?
Yes. Go ahead and I'll give you an advantage insight check.
All right.
And I'll roll to see what she's showing. Okay.
18.
Yeah, so it is very clear that she is trying to be very polite, but the way she's fidgeting with her fork and her countenance lets you know that she's quite uncomfortable.
And DM, is it just judging by the Baron's mannerisms and what you just said right now about Irina and bloodlines, there's clearly this expectation of, how do I word this, people of a very certain background that he upholds higher than others.
Absolutely.
It's pretty obvious.
It's absolutely.
Okay.
Nobility and all that.
I mean, he really didn't hide it at all. I mean, I wanted someone to ask, but
yes. So those things are very clear. He kind of literally wears them on his sleeve.
Right.
Makes no, about who he is. And so he's just kind of right now. So at this point, you guys are having your meals. There's some more wine is served. Tav, you excited because this is full Dragon Crush, and it's top notch. It's really good.
So as it's pouring out, you can see that his eyes are fixated, and it's like he's restraining himself not to just take the whole bottle or something like that.
The lady stops the pour right around about there. And I'm sure he's just kind of like, come on. Kind of leans in, gives a little more.
I put my hand up. I says, do you have tea or coffee instead?
Oh yes. I should have.
There you go.
Man of the cloth. I should have known. Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Get this man
Anything.
some tea.
Yes.
Powerful, good tea. I forgot a good tea for you. And so they serve
Thank
you
you.
tea. It's nice and hot. A nice little, metal teapot. Nice glass there or cup for it. And so he said, and so he just kind of continues to ask. So, well, you seem all right by me. Like I said, my son wanted to be here. I just wanted to meet you. I do want to know if if it is okay with you. I would love to have you all as guests of mine. It would be good to, wife. Wouldn't it be good to have them kind of flank me? I heard you. Actually, let me say this. I've heard that you priest, you exorcised a young man yesterday. The orphan.
Yes. It was a frightening moment, but
Yeah.
those poor children were going through a difficult time, and thankfully the evil was curbed and all is well.
All is well. All is well. Isn't that is amazing. Amen. 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 Priest of Lathander. Let's see. And like I said, we've got you have the wings, and I hear that the Blue Water Inn, the Mardikovs, like for you to play that fancy little doohickey you have there. I know.
Yes, Honored Baron. I am something of a performer. It is a great art, honed deep in the tunnels of my people.
Would you be open to? Would you play something for me?
But of course, Lord Baron, it would be my pleasure.
Ah, excellent. Well, we will turn the tables over to the bard. And so, is there any particular thing that you play for him or song that you play?
I'm going to try to find the most acoustic space in the in the hall, and I'm going to play a. Let's say it's a fancy little ditty. It's going to be a happy song, just a light, carefree, just a really happy song, and I'm going to drop the lyrics all as well. I'm going to ad-lib all as well into appropriate places.
Awesome. Why don't you give me an advantage charisma check?
Charisma, performance, just straight
Performance. Let's do performance, and I'll do my charisma for the Baron. All right.
Let's see.
The Baron got a 12.
Dirty 20.
Nice. And so as you start to play, the Baron's kind of sitting there, and you can tell either he's not enjoying it or has a poker face on, but slowly but surely a smile begins to crack, and then his eyes kind of water up, a little tear just kind of runs, quickly wipes it away, and he goes, "Wow, that was beautiful, quite beautiful. So I know, I appreciate it. Well, honestly, I think the greatest bard in the city, and the awesome the glory that comes off of this one. Maybe you could do that wing trick, right on at the festival, and then to have a priest there, it would be a really good ops for us, right? So yes, I would love to have you as my guests at the end of the week when we do the Festival of the Blazing Sun.
But of course, Lord Baron. And while we are on the topic, we have, of course, been very excited for this festival, having never experienced one ourselves. But I must ask, what has been your favorite festival so far?
Ah, man, there's been so many. I think we really did. I think every one of my festivals is just so good. It's so good that it outdoes the last. So I would have to say that the last festival was the best, and that was the Wolf's Heads Jamboree, where we killed 45 dire wolves, collected their heads, and danced their heads on pikes throughout the town square. We also made a show openly of one of our criminals. He was flogged. Everyone cheered. And then he was sent on his way as we poured, vinegar on him as he ran. And then we celebrated with some good music. And that was the Wolf's Head Jamboree, and that was last week. The Festival of the Blazing Sun is going to be, you probably saw the bales of wicker and hay out there. We are creating a giant ball. We will hoist it up over the town square, and then I will walk out. The children will bring out baskets of flowers and kind of cascade them around. It's going to be beautiful. And then I'm going to walk up, and he probably shouldn't tell you this, but it's almost like he gets so caught up in his own like fluff of what he wants to do. He's like, I'm going to light it right as the darkness settles, right as the sun is on the horizon. When the darkness falls, I will light that giant ball after we douse it in oil, and it will go up in flames, and we will create a light that the Devil Strahd can see from Ravenloft. And that will be the light in the darkness, and all will be well. And we will celebrate.
That sounds absolutely glorious, Lord Baron. But I must ask, just out of curiosity, what do you think that this great devil will think of the light?
You know what? We have had a long-standing. Listen. I hope you're not questioning me, Einar. I'm kind of like Holden. I am Lathander appointed here. He moves to me. I'm sure, Calden, you're getting that vibe, right? That the anointing is on.
I'm getting vibes.
It's on me. So I move. The gods tell me what I need to do to keep the people safe. And this is why, in generations, we have not had a vampire attack here in the city of Vallaki. It's why the people in Barovia are so dour and so down, and why they have to eat those disgusting pies.
But you had a demon attack the other day.
And then one of the dogs goes, woo! And like barks at Calden. Duke? That we did. But as you can see, last week, I prayed for guidance. And I asked for something good to continue to happen. And look at you. You popped up. You showed up. And you handled it.
As all this is happening, Tav just has his eyes closed as he's slowly slipping his wine, like trying to just like deflect all the bullshit that he is hearing the Baron say.
So, Einar, but of course, Lord Baron, I do not seek to question your holy wisdom. I only ask out of fear for your safety. Because, of course, I wouldn't want to even have you match your powers against Strahd.
Alden, can you give me a charisma check? Not a save, just a regular check.
The check, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
15.
Okay. So you could tell that there was a little, you and the Baron kind of hit a little rough patch there, and he rolled a 14. So you feel him kind of settle down, and you feel Einar kind of calmed him down, but he was feeling very like you were questioning his
you're
his
great.
stance from him. But he's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah. I understand I was not questioning your motives or your aspirations. But this is a strange land, and things aren't always what they seem. Maybe, yes, okay, and that's wonderful. You have no vampire attacks, but there's still clearly outside forces that are entering this area and affecting the lives of others. What you say you serve Lathander? Please tell me more about that. Are you officially anointed as a priest, or what? This is fascinating. I didn't know there was any Morning Lord priests out here.
No, it is. See, that is the thing that the church does not understand. There are religious rites, and then there are some people who have a direct connection with the gods. And I'm sorry, you weren't informed, Sir Calden.
Yes,
I am not listen. I'm not a priest. I am not a king. I am none of that. I am literally just a humble baron. I am a humble Yes, humble servant of the people. And at this point, across the room, Tav notices that Victor is kind of like leaning in and kind of like touches Irina's arm, and she jerks away, kind of like slaps his hand, and he. It's like I feel this family is creepy and weird and all over the place, and so he just says, honestly, priest, great kings, right? Certain people in our history, in our time, they don't need to be priests to hear from higher authorities. Would you agree?
I would agree. I believe people who are humble at heart will receive those inspirations from the Morning Lord. Yes, I received that call before I was a priest, and that is why I'm here. But forgive me, I did brother. I'm sorry. What was the priest's name at the where the bones were buried?
Lucian, yes.
Lucian.
And by the way, they've also served around at this point. You guys are in like the second meal, so they've served like wolf steaks. They're pretty tasty. And is anyone refraining from anything at this point, or
I'm just asking for more wine at this point.
Okay.
I'm on my second glass.
Yeah.
Pies and alcohol.
Yeah, and nothing has looked like those. By the way, I will say that they have not served anything that even resembles a pie, dream pie, at all.
Okay, all right.
So eating and drinking in moderation, not pigging out.
There you go. So, well, Your Grace, you say this upcoming festival will be better than the last. I am assuming by the grandeur and the way you're speaking that you just top it each week, right? It's better and better each week.
It gets better and better. It gets weller and weller. and that is what we provide here. And so, yes, I think that you all are you are a good addition. I approve. I approve of this. But Victor, we will talk more later. But I would like you to go ahead and excuse yourself. And Victor's like, but Fop, he goes, please. And he go ahead and he does and walks out and he goes, listen, I have a lot to do in the morning, and so I am not going to keep you this evening. I just always, my son, my superiors, other people, they're good vets of, who we bring in this town. And you know what? You got the, I feel I'm so happy for you that you got a chance to come here and sit and dine with us this evening. And then in the shadows, like right from the steps where the Baron came out, a man appears, kind of a dark countenance just to his overall feel, and you notice that he has a cloak draped over one of his arms. And if you do remember, he looks familiar. He was the same figure who, when you walked into town on your first day, was kind of telling some of the guards to tear down the new signs and to put up new signs. And you might know him if you remember even Bigsby talked about his name being Isaac. He is the kind of right hand of the Baron. So
Enforcer type.
Yes. Yeah. And so when you see him kind of walk into the room, the Baron kind of looks over and goes, yes, I am really sorry. I'm going to excuse myself for this evening, an early day. But if you need anything further, the butler, Joffrey will see you out. And he says, is there anything else that I can help you with before I turn in for the evening?
Your Grace, so why are there children in the stocks? What did they do to deserve such a harsh punishment?
They're, well, you are new here, so I guess I'll have to. First of all, I wasn't aware. Isaac, are there children in the stocks? And
since we arrived several days ago,
he kind of gives a nod. He goes, well, what did they do? Your Highness. So they were convicted of malicious unhappiness. They were sharing their unhappy and making others unhappy. And he says, well, there it is. They did something wrong as a family. So I'm sure that the father and the mother there too. Yep. Well, why do you have a problem with this,
Malicious.
Calden?
I just find it hard that someone is in a stock, let alone children, because of an emotion.
Do
And
you think
I look over
they
at
should be
Einar
released?
and I says, "Look, I'm not telling you how to run your village here. We all
You
mean
notice
well
that
here."
the where the foyer is, two guards kind of walk in and stand there, and then the
I said-
guards are kind of.
Yeah. I said, and I look over Einar and I can sense there's uncomfortable here, and I don't want to push the buttons, but he says, "But well, you said so yourself, Your Grace. This is about, you serve the Morning Lord as well, and I'm a little caught off guard by that." And as I say that, I cast Thermatology, and then all the lights and the candles kind of flicker for a second. There's a dust of wind, and I kind of look firm at them. Just kind of hold my ground.
Give me a performance check.
All right.
Unless you got a higher, unless your Arcana's higher.
19.
Fantastic.
Wow. So, kind of looks around, and one of the dolls goes, tucks its nose down, and then Isaac kind of grabs, pulls that big, and when he finally reveals the arm, I imagine from where you guys are sitting, maybe Einar sees it first, but that arm is it looks human in all nature, but it just looks almost demonic. Like the nails are a little bit longer. Just the hand, if he was standing, one hand is literally lower than his knee. And it goes for a blade on his hip. The Baron stops and looks intently at Calden and says, "All right. You know what? It just came to me. You know what, Isaac, Katrina, you know what the gods are telling me right now? We're going to release those people. They've been in there enough, right? Yeah, they've been in enough. Guards, release that family. And maybe we'll leftovers tonight. We'll give them the leftovers instead of the dogs. Yeah, send some leftovers to their home. But tell them to watch that unhappiness, and tell them that the Baron, all compliments of the Baron." And
as he's talking, Calden doesn't even look at him. He just starts cutting his wolf steak and eating it.
Tav actually stands up, and he actually gives a smile to the Baron. Thank you for your kind gesture.
Yes, the steak is wonderful. Thank you.
I can be, like I said, I try to be as good to the people as I can, and we'll look into lesser sentences for the stocks for unhappiness. But listen, just know, Mr. Calden, no, this is how we keep things in check here. This is how we keep it's either would you rather that or this town be burned to the ground by ghouls and.
I do not doubt your intentions.
Good.
I just believe there's better ways.
Okay.
I cannot wait to see you at the festival. All will be well. And
we will be there.
As Tav says that, you can see kind of the glimmer of the wings for a second to him.
And so at that moment, the Baron it's almost like he was staring at Calden, and he snaps and he looks over at Tav and he goes, "You are right." And hearing his own catchphrase, he's like, "Yes, all will be well." And he takes his knife and he puts a giant fork on whatever's left of Calden's plate of his steak and snatches it off his plate and starts to eat it as he walks out of the room looking at Calden. And then out walks both Isaac and his guards. And he says, "Well, I'll be retiring now. Joffrey, see them to the door." And he says, "Well, time to rise." And they kind of come over, and they kind of it becomes a little bit more awkward in terms of as kind of excitedly as they welcomed you in, they're kind of rushing you out. It's like, "Yep, time to go home." It's got to get out now. So there, maybe once they've got you outside, and the Joffrey says, "Have a good evening. Thank you for coming." Closes the two front doors. You guys are standing in that archway. It's about after 10. The help has gone home. Those bales of hay are just kind of sitting all around. It's kind of a nice night. Besides the fog, you can see a little bit of the moon overhead, and that just happened.
Ayenar, sorry if I ruined any plans there.
No problem.
But I think that
You-
gave us the answer of what type of individual he is, though.
You're right. He is obviously lacking in many, many qualities that you would look for in a leader. But as you have demonstrated, I applaud your you have freed the children, and it is a great deed. But we've also learned valuable intelligence about this Baron. He is obviously not effective on
No.
his own.
Yes, good for you, Calden. I appreciate you standing up to that brute. And that's Irina speaking. And she says, there is no way I would like to see that Victor again. But I know that I am going along with this, with Ismar, because all intentions of us being kind of flying under the radar as long as we can until we find these bones. But then
I
again,
understand.
like how am I going to ever be? She kind of turns to Ismark. She goes, "What? You expect me to live in a church for the rest of my life?" And Ismark kind of tucks his eyes because he really doesn't know how to answer that question.
Our final goal here is to end Strahd. Once that happens, you'll know safety.
Indeed. I hope that we can perhaps use the Baron in the future, because he has access to resources and men, and though we find him distasteful at the end of this great and long journey, once we finally depose the Devil Strahd, then we can also depose a Baron.
I just
Agreed.
hope that I agree, and I hope that when you're there, she kind of hikes her dress just a bit to where she pulls like a dagger that she had around her leg. She goes, "I hope that this is a stake instead that I can drive into his heart." And then, kind of as she says it, her eyes kind of drift, and she stares down this lone, empty street into the fog, as though like maybe she's hearing a beautiful song or.
Can I
And then
do
for a second, she kind of snaps her eyes, and
So we all see this?
yeah, you all see her do that, and then she kind of snaps out of it. Drive this knife through his heart.
I cast detect magic.
Okay, and so are you casting it on her or just
Yeah,
the
it's
vicinity?
the area. So
Yeah,
it's,
the area. So yes, you feel like a waft of magic, like something that kind of came over her for a second, and you can sense that magic lifting as quickly as it came, a persuasive, almost like a
enchantment?
charming, an enchantment
Okay.
magic, and give me what's your natural perception, Calden? Or,
My natural, it's pretty
Yeah.
high. It's passive perception is
Yeah.
17.
So Calden, as you cast that mat and as you sense it, you look down the street, and for a second, you thought it looks like at the end of a corner, there looks like there's a figure standing there, with like a tall, like 7-foot figure. But as quickly as you look down at it, it's suddenly like an overarching, an archway where a sign would be. It doesn't make sense, but you saw it for a second, and it made you think of Strahd.
Okay.
But it's no longer there.
Okay. I'll tell them all that after. But yeah.
Well, it was late, and that was weird, says Bavo. And then Elditha's like, yeah, that was. I'm surprised I didn't say anything crazy to that creep. This time it was Calden that almost got us all killed.
I said, trust me, I would not have let that happen. I knew when to refrain. But I think I waited too long, and I kind of look up and I said, I was praying for several hours last night before I retired, and guilt, and I had to do something. So forgive me if I put you all in an awkward spot.
And Ismar kind of leans, he says, you did the right thing. And he says, I see a lot of good traits here from you all. And I hope that one day I can, be the same type of man. I hope that I would do the same in these situations. Far too long have I kind of turned the blind eye to things that you all seem to address directly.
But of course, Ismark, if you stay around us long enough, you will become Ismark the Greatest, just by association.
I don't know about that, but I like the sound of it. And he kind of like turns with her, and then they start to kind of heading back towards the blue water as you guys are all walking on the cobblestone streets there. If there isn't anything else, we could transition to the morning. Or I see it looks like Tav was maybe going to say something. Am I no? Okay.
I just wanted to know, did I miss anything?
Oh, no. So you saw Irene, I guess, saw something, called it. He sensed some Strahd energy around. He was the only one, but as quickly as it came, it was gone. Ismark basically told, Casey was just telling everybody that he really wants to be the type of people that you all are in terms of being so strong and be able to stand up for what you believe. And Einar told him that one day he'd be Ismark the Greater or the Greatest, and so he said he liked the sound of that. And then they were walking back to the Blue Water Inn.
Before we retire, and I'm assuming that's what we're doing. I do tell the others about what I saw, and I know we know the enemy has a hold on her, but it's getting more intense, and we really do need to find those bones.
So this is what I'd like to know, is what is the most important thing? Is the next morning, day 5, would that be the party? Are we going to go to the Wizard's Winery, or are we going to stay in the city and continue to search?
I gave my word that I would help.
I think we all did. Yeah.
And that seems like the best option for finding the bones at this point in time.
I agree.
I mean, the deal is he'll look in our absence, and he has far more eyes than we do.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Winery, bones. I mean, in the meantime, we saved a family that was in the stocks, and I can call them. Will rest a little easier tonight. Hopefully.
Nice. All right. And so the party heads on back to the Blue Water Inn, and you just kind of watch them kind of walking in through the front door and closing it, and maybe a light appearing on the second floor where their room is. We kind of push back through the fog and fade to black for that scene. We'll take a quick 2-minute break, and then we will bring back on as we open on day 5. 5 days until the festival. All right, good stuff, guys. Yep. I'll do set a couple things up. We'll be right back.
All right.
I'm loving the role playing from this group. It's just
it's
great.
So I was thinking
All right.
that like during the nighttime, Tab was like talking to Einar about their routine they're gonna do on the festival. So like at some point, while Einar's playing the music, Tab is gonna like come in with his wings.
Nice.
And we'll have Calden praying, and we'll make it like this huge, like the Morning Lords. Like we're gonna make it like this big show.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have everybody will need to be here for that. Like,
And then I'm going to like I can make like my pronouncement, people of like the whole like spiel, the army of light, like with this ball of light. And then Strahd's gonna come and
now the only thing I worry about with that is does that steal the show from the Baron?
Yeah.
Well, Strahd's gonna come and murder us all anyway if we don't get this church reconsecrated.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And you guys do understand that by heading, just based on travel times, by the time you arrive, you will be missing Lady Fiona's dinner. So are you guys planning to literally just kind of like ghost her on that invite, like just not show up?
Ghoster.
I guess
Yeah,
we have to. She
we'll tell her.
sounded scary too.
We'll tell her
We
something
have
happened.
too many plot hooks, so some of them are going to get dropped. I don't know how you're expecting us to do everything. How come?
No, I actually don't. I'm actually just making sure I let you. I'm making sure I'm asking these questions so I know exactly what the counter, what the repercussions are, and making sure I also offer you a chance to say like what, because if anything, somebody could say something or say, we stop and tell her we're not going to be able to make it, or is it just like, no, we're just not going?
Well, I actually thought that like we could just say, look, we had an emergency or something, but
I say we ghost her. It sounded like she worshipped Strahd.
I
don't want to mess with any of
I'm
that
not against
shit.
either of them. I think they both play just fine.
With the caveat that there's nothing stopping us from breaking into her house later to try and get to whatever is apparently hiding in there.
Yeah, she was creepy. She's really creepy.
Her dude approaching us in the dark. Weird.
Stalking us, like
Big stalk.
There is no good vibes coming from there. The deal breaker was just Mardukov telling us all that extra shit, and it's like, nope.
Worshipping Strahd, like she doesn't sound like someone who's gonna join us, so I ain't got time for that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are back from our quick commercial break, and the morning falls. The party has had some discussions the evening before. Today is a little darker than usual in Vallaki. And like I said, day 5, leading up to the... it's early enough in the morning that when you guys get out to the streets, there aren't too many people walking around. A couple of chickens are making noises, but it's kind of quiet. And as you head out of town, you're about maybe 20 minutes outside of Vallaki where you're passing, because you all have to take the main road. If you're looking at roll 20, you'll even notice that if I point at, do you guys see my pointer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So this is the main road, the Slavic road that leads from Vallaki. You kind of have to take this outside of town. And if you notice, like right over here in this area, that's where the Vistani, it's like right off the side of the road. And so as you're walking down off that hill where you can see that big kind of a circled area, it's like all their wagons and all their horses are in a circle, and some huts around each one. You see a figure kind of running towards you, hey, kind of waving out. And you notice by the goatee, the straight kind of goatee on the man and the long hair, the wispy hair, it is Lavash, the man you saved his daughter. And he says, I knew I would. I've been watching in the mornings or in the afternoons. I kind of look out to make sure I watch the road. It is you. I wanted to apologize for how dour our first meeting was. I should have been more thankful for you saving my daughter. I wanted to show my appreciation for that, and to also show you that I am sorry I could not bring you into into our quarters. But I would want you to have something that you can take with you. And he pulls out a something rolled up. It looks like it is a tin, like he unrolls some of it, and you could tell that this thing is big. It's about, I don't know, 2 feet, but it when unrolled, it's a full kind of 10-foot rug, and it's very exquisitely detailed. But when he rolls it just halfway out, it is the paint or the adornment is of some kind of exquisite unicorn motif. It's quite colorful, but it has an ancient feel to it, right? So it's not like super like poppy color, but it is the horse in the middle of it has a a straightened horn coming out of its head, and the embroidery around it are different gold and purples and different greens colors that kind of emanate a power around it. And he said it is but a rug, but it is a valuable rug. It has been in the family for quite some time. A little big, but I'm willing to think you would get a hefty penny for it. And he says, I'd probably say this is worth, on a good day, you could get about 750 gold for it. Low end, maybe 600. But it is finely crafted, and I bestow it to you if you are willing to take it.
Half kind of like goes in front and kind of like gives like a little bow as he like, thank you, Lavash.
Yes.
That's very generous of you. Thank you.
I just wanted to show you I mean no harm. And he looks over at Einar and Calden, and Tav kind of looks around the group, big dragon, but a little kind of back towards Calden, in between Calden and Einar, and he goes, listen, you spoke of some things the other night, and I want you to know that we as the Vistanis, many of us, it's kind of hard. We feel what you're saying, Einar, but remember, we've seen this before. You to us, we've seen many of your kind come and go. So you talk of this rise up. I just hope that if I see you around, you are proving it. If you can prove it, then you might have a hand. I'm probably going to die saying that, but that's all I will say for now.
But of course, good friend, me and my companions speak best with our actions. And I hope that not only the Vastani, but all of Ravenloft will see what we represent through our actions.
Good. I will give you one other good piece of advice before I leave you. I run this camp as well as my brother Aragal. If you ever come around here, do not speak any of that to him. He will probably kill you on sight. And to that, I bid you a good day. And he kind of walks off, and he goes, Godspeed, adventurous, and kind of runs back off into the...
Good way to start the morning. Got my wine, yeah. got my rug.
Got 15 different kinds of political intrigue going down.
Wow.
And so you guys end up traveling along the forest and throughout the day. And it gets, later around, I could say maybe 6:30 or 7 o'clock, your sun is starting to drop in the sky. But you actually end up getting, I'd say around 6:30, where you can tell that the evening is setting in, but it's not dark. You around a bend, and you get your first kind of glimpse at the winery off in the distance. And the place is, give me 1 second, so give you a little bit of, kind of to describe it a little bit. All right, let's see here. Sorry, I just lost my place in my notes. Don't you hate when that happens? Let's see. But I think what you see approaching the land here is just, if you're looking here on the map in Roll20, you can see that there's this open, expansive land, and all around you there's a small little road leading up. In the distance, you can see what's almost like a similar to what you would maybe find as an Eastern kind of European farmhouse, but also everything about it also lets you know that the structure is it's the winery. The road that leads you kind of closes in very tight, about 10 feet on either, that you have amount of space on either side. And but what you do see, like I said, as you kind of come down a slope of a hill, you can see the winery kind of down in the valley. But as you continue down that road, you start to lose kind of sight of it as the ground levels out, and you have nothing but like vines, nothing but vineyards all around you, kind of up to the sides. And as you walk slowly but surely, eventually it opens up, and there's an open space. The vineyards go all the way around the sides of the winery, and it's kind of like you said, it's dark. There's not a light on in the place. It doesn't look, there's no tracks of anyone kind of moving around. The sky is a bit kind of dark overhead, and some clouds have started to kind of gather in the area. It just would be around this time, and there's not a storm, but just a sprinkling. It starts to drizzle, starts to rain a little bit as you approach. And in the middle of the vineyard, like to your left, the last kind of the vineyard before, I would probably say there's a good 40, 50 yards before you get to the actual house. Right there at the end where you're standing, where the vineyard ends and the open just kind of grass area begins, there is a scarecrow just kind of hanging over, kind of all kind of creepy and weird, standing off to your left, kind of on its post. And that's what you see. And it's very quiet. How would you guys like to approach, or what would you like to do?
Okay.
To the main building.
Yeah.
Somebody check the scarecrow. Just gives me bad vibes.
Well, looks like a job for me.
And on the scarecrow, there's a little sign that says vineyard, like that way, basically. Yeah, like I said, and there's a bit of a mist that shrouds amongst, so you can't really see through the vineyards, kind of hangs over that space.
To be an actual vineyard.
Yes.
Have heading as the front line.
Following behind at a respectful distance.
Is someone typing or picking? No? Okay, I was just hearing that for a minute. Don't know if maybe that was me.
Oh, you know what? That was my bad.
No, it's okay.
Fidget.
Okay. Yeah.
ADD. I'm like,
no worries.
Thank you for calling me on that.
No, I didn't know.
That's funny. So yeah, just out of my morbid curiosity, the creepy face on the scarecrow, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sack face. It's kind of stitched across and maybe almost like coal for eyes, kind of stitched into there.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Should we just proceed to the building? I mean, is that what we're doing? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And I was trying to find the overall map. But there's no need for it right now. So you guys are just proceeding a little bit closer to the building? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just keep a sharp eye.
Yep. So keeping a sharp eye out, what I'll go ahead and do is turn us over so we can at least see a little bit of the map.
Okay.
Here. So what I'll do is I'll pull back a little bit on that. I will put a pin video. All right. So this is the space. You guys are, maybe over here leaving the vineyard area. This isn't quite the exact structure of the of the place, but it kind of helps give you some. If I had to draw it out, here's kind of the layout of the structure of the place, and here's like there's a door here that leads in through a kind of a side door there. But around the bend, you would have to from the front of the area, from where you guys are standing, you can see that yes, there is a door on the left-hand side. You guys note a door here, and then you would have to walk around the perimeter to kind of see any more. But that's what you see so far. Now, I also meant to ask you guys: were you bringing? Did you leave Irina and Ismark back at the? I thought that, but I want to make sure that's not what you guys would have done.
I don't think we would leave. I mean, I think we would leave them there. I don't think we would take them on this journey.
Okay.
I'd leave them.
Yep.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
Just confirm.
Thanks for asking. Yeah.
Yep.
So does anything look like obviously off?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to give me you guys. So everybody give me a perception check.
Guidance. Both of you.
Guidance. Yeah.
Oh,
That's D4.
let's see. Perception.
Not very good.
23. I didn't even add the guidance.
Okay. So then
that's
unless somebody gets higher than 23, we'll go.
Yeah.
And you're all gonna win it. So I mean, I'll just share the
19.
information. Okay.
I got a 9. Man.
So I'll share this as something that you all really perceive. Tav probably picks up on it first, but is able to easily point it out to the rest of the group that it is deathly quiet for a place that's a vineyard. Yes, there's a scarecrow, but in the distance, no birds, no cawing, no ravens, no movement. It seems like even the trees just sit a bit dead. It's not even windy or. And then the house that does confirm some of the concern that the Martyr Calls had, because right now, just the fact that this winery just looks in disuse. It doesn't look like, anyone's been maybe making wine or sending wine in and out of here for some time.
That is creepy.
I don't like
no
this.
wind, no breeze, no.
Tav takes a readied stance.
And I'll add to that. And then as Tav does that, he hears a and off in the distance, coming from maybe the rear, that sounded like a horse.
Okay.
So it lets you know maybe there are some stables in the rear of the building.
Perhaps.
Do we see? Go ahead.
Perhaps we should knock on the front door. Give that one a try.
Yeah, I agree. While we're doing that, we don't see anything in the windows. Nothing.
Yeah. So in the windows, front end, there's windows. If I was looking at the actual structure, which let me find here very quickly.
Cool.
I can tell you where the actual windows would be. But there are 2 stories and no windows on the first floor. There are 4 windows on the second floor, right? And they are evenly spaced at about 5 to almost 10 feet apart. And each one of those windows is they're not slatted up, but they look dark because you can't really see what's in there.
Okay.
And you don't see anything. There's a little window right over here as well. You don't see anything in there. And and you imagine that those windows probably run around the perimeter, but so far you've seen no movement in any of them.
Okay.
Slowly walking forward.
Proceed with caution.
I'm kind of getting closer to the door and waiting for everyone to kind of get into a position.
And so what I'll do is kind of move all this. We don't really need all this. So this will kind of share with us some of the structure. And I'll put the door that's here. The door that's here. And so, like you said, in position, I know Tav maybe taken towards the front. yeah, you're. How would you like to approach the front door?
Slowly raising my hand, and you can see kind of like a slow motion. Dong, dong, as he knocks on the front door.
Nice. So as you knock, you get no response. A very hollow knock, a very quiet reply.
Does there
And
seem
actually,
to be
as you do knock, don't, then suddenly the door kind of creaks and just cracks open inward.
So that kind of answers my question. Does it seem like there was like a struggle, like something
Yeah.
like scratches or like a force, like a blunt force or something on the door, the wall, anything like that?
Yeah.
Investigation,
So-
I'm guessing.
Give me an investigation. Yeah.
No. 7. Never
7.
mind.
Okay. Now, while you don't see any major like scarring, anything like that, it is weird that the door is just open.
Yeah.
And it definitely just seems like the people who live here probably wouldn't just leave the front, wouldn't just leave the winery open.
Okay.
Okay, I'll move.
All right.
I'll move in.
Okay.
And
Yes.
Tav is starting to go in, and he's going to try and be quiet about it.
Okay.
Oof.
Natural 1.
Is it dark in there?
It's dark, but at this point it is, since it's like there's still some light in the sky. Anyone who with even a human could dimly see.
Okay.
You can still make out the room. It's and
Sure.
And what you make out is there's a couple of shelving, and the stuff that's on the shelves, and a few like wooden kind of crates and things like that. But everything that's on there appears to be. There appears to be fresh blown out like glass bottles. Basically, in this looks like the workshop. It looks like where not where the glass is made, but where it is like stored. But you notice that one of the racks has been tipped over and is smashed on the ground, and a bunch of broken glass is all here. This doorway is cracked. There's glass all over the floor. And there is like a shelving with some fresh glass bottles that are unused, and there's no cobwebbing or anything like that. Like this isn't like this place hasn't been ancient, but old, so it's still a bit fresh. But yeah, so like that definitely is a signs of like foul play or kind of weird.
Do I smell anything?
Good question. You smell. It smells like definitely old wine in the air. Kind of. It's a bit maybe stale since it's been a bit closed up. But no smells of death or anything like
Sure.
that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Malcolm, I was stealthing around,
Okay.
and I rolled a natural 1.
Okay. And so as you're kind of walking around, Tav, you kind of you stealthily move to the door, and as you do, you like bump against like the little rack right here on the side, cling, and one of the bottles falls off the top shelf, and you go to catch it, and you completely fumble it, and it crashes and goes around, and you look at Calden and Bobbles like, and then it's quiet, but then nothing happens. And it was like Bobbles like, that's normally me.
All right, let's proceed.
Onward.
Onward.
And so as the party kind of moves through to that next room, as you who's opening the door and how are you approaching doing it? Give me a little feedback here.
Well,
Top, are you
Yeah.
first or no?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm first.
Before we go in, I'm going to pull out my hurdy-gurdy, and I'm going to obviously start playing, but no sound is going to come out, and I'm going to pat Tav on the back and cast invisibility.
Nice. So there's like a big.
And do I see myself, or am I just completely invisible?
It's a good question. How would you see your spell working, Einar?
As I tap him, it would it wouldn't be like a out of existence. It's going to like ripple over his body, so it's going to be like a second or two as the invisibility like spreads around him, so he'll see himself start to disappear.
Okay.
Can
Nice.
And then he's just going to whisper, "All right, make good use."
Oh, there we go. And just remember,
lost Einar again.
he'll come back. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. Fingers crossed.
And so as you guys are kind of walking in,
You have to go first now.
So Tab is slowly disappearing.
Yes. He slowly disappears, and then Einar whispers, "All right, now you have to go first. Make it happen."
All right.
And remember, you all have a guidance D4 to all your ability checks. Just remember.
Yes.
Opening up the door slowly, looking
And
inside.
I'd assume we're all like hiding outside of the door, like blatantly not obvious.
So as Tab opens the door, there's a rich smell of fermenting wine that are filling the large two-story chamber, which is dominated by 4 enormous wooden casks. So as you can see them, these are the large wooden casks. Pardon my terrible rendering of this particular place this episode. But the cask, and then the red allows you to know that they are filled. You can, kind of... yes, dominated by the wood casks. Each one is 8 feet wide and 12 feet tall. A wooden staircase at the center, right, is going upstairs, but you guys are standing behind the staircase. So you can tell it's a staircase from where you're standing, but it goes up that way. Though Tab, you'd be going up if you were standing on that side to go up the staircase. So this is the back of the staircase where you're standing right now. And so that clings to a wooden balcony that's right overhead. Stacked against the wall of the balconies and around the room are barrels. A lot of the barrels read the wizard's wines, burned into the sides of each. The balcony climbs another 5 feet as it continues along the west and east walls, ending at the doors leading to the winery's upper levels. Underneath these sides of the balconies are several doors. Those are the doors you see. And there also is, I'm sorry I left one off, but there's a door right here as well. And a small little alcove on this side here. And like I said, in addition to those things that you see, beneath the sloping roof stretches thick rafters. You can see the rafters overhead. And that is what we see here in the room.
Okay. Kind of like heading around the left side and kind of taking a quick glance at the area as I'm kind of moving towards the next door.
Okay, so you're moving to which door now?
The
you
big
can smell
door.
all this sweet wine in these pots. These big.
And I like shake my head a little bit. Later, Tav.
And so which doors are you headed to, Tav?
The front.
This one? That leads to outside.
And then slowly opening that, realizing it's the outside door.
Tav, can you give me a perception check?
All right. And a D4 because of the guidance.
It was really funny because I don't know how it happened, but my phone
10.
Okay. So yeah, and like I said, in Ultimate Spirits, you realize it's outdoors. And in addition to hearing the outdoors, you also just kind of like the wind. You hear a little bit of wind and rustling. It sounds normal, just the vineyard, just the trees outside make a little bit of little bit of noise. Where to next?
Kind of systematically going through the.
And is everyone else in, or is everyone else staying back here watching Tav kind of move through the room invisible?
Just staying. I'm staying.
Okay. Yep.
Systematically going to the closest door, the next one to the outside door.
Mm-hmm. And so as you open this particular door or crack it, are you doing this stealthily?
Yeah, I think I'm still invisible.
Oh yeah, you're invisible. So, but I mean, there's still a door opening. But I
Yeah.
guess so
Nah, yeah.
trying to make that door look as natural as possible as you open it. But this is a
Natural
this, like,
20.
nice. Okay, so
Yeah.
you just like the door just cracks as though the wind is, so if anything was in there, it would be like, oh, maybe the door just moved, right?
Mhm.
And so this is a flagstone veranda. There are 3 5-foot diameter wooden tubs. Um, a second, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback from somebody. All right, and so there's these tubs that you see in front of you, and they're stained with grape, like their insides are stained with grape juice. Each tub has a short ladder bolted to the side, a catch to the basin underneath. At the back of the veranda is a large set of sliding wooden doors as well, which is where the sliding wooden doors that you are opening, that you just kind of cracked, that are normal wooden size. And then there are stone pillars and archways that support the upper floors. So if I had to draw that, then essentially just like you see here, I had to move this door here, Tav, you now see 3 those tubs, but those are all empty, and they just have the staining of the grape juice that was once inside. I would like Calden. Oh, did everybody freeze? Oh, okay. Everybody was so still for a second. I thought like everybody was like gone. Calden, can you give me a perception check?
Sure thing. Ooh, 24.
Nice. So
last time.
Calden's listening, and those outside the wind seems like it kind of picked up a bit from where you're crouched down, and you hear some almost like the trees are constantly moving outdoors.
Hey,
and that's
do you
it.
hear that? Did I hear that behind me? I'm sorry. Was that?
You hear it behind you, outdoors area, and
I turn around.
And as you turn around and look at Einar, I'm going to, because of how high the check was, I'm going to assume that Einar, as well as maybe even Eldith or Bavo, hear it a bit as well.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
All right. But we don't say anything, huh?
Perhaps it is not the time to be too loud.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
We're whispering. I probably should have said that, but yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all.
Yeah.
I imagine everyone's whispering, right? So,
yeah,
that's not going to hold you. There's no stealth check for you guys can continue to talk amongst each other. But like, yeah, you definitely heard some noises out that way. Tav, now you didn't hear that, Tav. As they're continuing to role play, is there? And as you see this room, are you going inside the room right now? What are you up to?
I am just trying to check every single room.
Okay. So then you just kind of move
I
on
open
without
it up. I don't
going
see anything.
more.
Yeah, I don't see anything crazy, or I'm looking for like something very obvious.
Yes. The next room you open, as you crack this particular door, and like peek in, you see just tons of. There's a room. There's another door here, but there are just barrels lining each wall, just stacked towards the. They're probably stacked up a good on top of each other, a good 10, 15 feet, about 10 feet, and they're all lining the halls. And all those barrels appear to be empty based on your keen smell of alcohol. They just seem to be the empty barrels that they probably barreled where they would be barreling the wine.
The storage for their barrels.
Yes. So far, nothing's really seen. Now, give me a. You can give me now. You can also give me investigation checks to see if you see anything else out of place. But I'll tell you just without even checking, just since you've been looking in your invisible tab, that little things let you know that something happened here. Like you notice that a lot of the chairs are broken. You notice that they're as you start to look more around, you specifically, Tab, are noticing more signs of struggle. that there could have been some struggle here, but not a huge. It's not like the entire place is in disarray. Like every now and then there's a chair that's broken, right? You might have noticed a chair broken in this room. In this room, the barrels look pretty normal, but you do notice a couple scarring across the walls as you kind of walk across. So you can't quite tell without any further whether this was like something really big happened here or just like a struggle between one or two people. But something is definitely out of whack.
I think at this point I would go back to the party and let them know that I have not found anything that looks like I didn't find anything that looks like a trap or any enemies or anything like that.
Can you give me another perception check as you're on your way back to the party?
Guidance.
Yeah, you got your guidance.
Good old guidance.
Which I gotta look in the rules. Can you just spam guidance like this?
It's a touch spell.
Yeah.
Is it touch? Oh,
It's
well,
touch.
bad.
Oh,
Right,
that's what it is. Okay.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm thinking bless, which is 30 feet.
Yes,
so you're right.
yes,
Thank
yes,
you,
yes.
Thank you, Tab. Okay.
I know I think there's a specific class that allows you to do it at range, or a
That's pretty
subclass. I got a 6.
I got a 6. Okay, so you're just kind of walking over. And so kind of cutting away from Tav, he's still approaching back in the room where you guys had just heard something, didn't seem right. Kind of picking up on that conversation. What else was said or done, if anything, before Tav walks back?
I think we should watch the door behind us more than the door in front of us, and when Tav gets back, perhaps we also send him outside to see if there's anything waiting for us.
Yeah.
And I noticed also, Tav, you haven't, like I said, I know, just reiterating, you've done his perception checks, but no particular investigation yet, right? You're just kind of clearing the room, making sure
It's safe.
Safe. Okay.
That wasn't my intention to investigate.
Right. That's all I'm making sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And so suddenly, as you guys are talking about clearing and watching, Bob's like, I got it. Pulls his blade, and Bob just stares at the door. And as Bob staring at the door, so is Eldith. And as they're doing that, Tav shows back up, and he's like, well, at this point, Tav, you kind of have to announce yourself since you're invisible.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, will we know if he's back? Yeah.
I shake the door a little bit.
And
Oh, crap.
yeah, so you all jump for a second, right? And then you realize, oh, it's probably Tav.
I assume that's you, Tab.
And then I shake the door once.
Yeah.
It is Tav.
The little knob rattles a bit.
What did you find?
I didn't find anybody or anything really. I didn't
No.
investigate that thoroughly.
Okay. Well, we heard something outside. We don't know what it is. We haven't heard anything since, DM?
It kind of got quiet for a second, but why don't you and Einar give me another perception check? And I'll allow you guys to actually make them separately instead of just doing like help.
Sure.
Yeah.
11.
Okay.
That's a 17.
All right. And so as you think that, Einar's like, wait. And sure enough, there's like, this time, Einar, you realize listening the second time, they almost sound like movement or footsteps beyond the wind and the spring, because it's also the pattering of the rain. But over that rain, that patter, there's something out there moving, you realize. And you realize it's gotten pretty damn close to the door.
I don't like this. Everyone, inside the building, inside the building.
So is everyone kind of rushing inside of here?
Yeah. Is this noise within 30 feet of me?
It's a ruffling. Yes, it's a ruffling kind of noise. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
As we're going in, I'll cast Detect Magic.
Okay, and you detect a. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
So you detect some kind of evil enchantment magic.
It's the scarecrow. So Einar dives behind one of the barrels and like tries to hide and like loud whispers, Tav, find out what it is.
That door over there leads outside.
I tell everyone what I detect. Yes, obviously.
Yes.
It's got to be the scarecrow.
Yeah.
Alright, is Bavo and Eldest still watching that door intently?
Yes, you can use Bavo and Eldith however you want. You can have them watch certain doors or
Hide.
take up certain positions.
Hide. Have them hide.
Have them
or
hide.
like
Tab,
Okay.
or I go.
So we're
ahead
literally
and I
taking
say,
hide actions, like try to
Yeah.
like stay off the.
with them maybe have them like flanking the door.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna put. There's a door here. I'll put that there, so in terms of where you all are at, and okay.
Yeah, I'll
So I
hide,
have
like
him
straight up
flank
hide.
the door. Eldith, she's like, should I? Okay, she doesn't kind of listen to you guys, like, or actually, we probably want him to like this door.
The door inside, the second door inside.
yeah,
This one. Or
and
this one.
Mm.
yeah,
This
The
one?
middle one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then got it. Keep it closed. Oh, okay. I got you. So inside like this,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
with this door,
Yeah.
but pretty much protecting this
This
door.
inner part, yeah.
Yeah. And then
But like out of sight.
But got it. So like on the side of like he's hiding right there,
And
where you guys
then
are all hiding.
I'll
behind
go
him.
ahead and scout it out because I'm still, I guess
Visible.
I'm still invisible, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
for
gonna
an
go
hour.
scout out in this room.
And see what is happening outside.
Okay. And how do you do that? What is it? Because the door is kind of, and the door is, you can tell that it's kind of busted, so it isn't really locked, and it's kind of rickety. So it you can tell as you approach it, Tab, as you kind of push in on this. And it's not that something is touching the door, but that the wind kind of blows in and it kind of rattles against its frame constantly. But you still hear something shuffling, moving right beyond the door.
I slowly try to push it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to do it as stealthily as possible, so
Give me
fail me now.
Give me a stealth check. And okay.
9.
Nice. And so like you
9.
push on it and you kind of peek out into your like horror, just like, and you're invisible, so they don't see. The door kind of opens. You see twisted, ragged, twig-like creatures, and so they've walked up to the door, and they are human. They are in humanoid shape, almost as though as if you saw a bunch of dry and wet twigs that contorted and formed into people, into like people shapes, and they're standing right in this area. There's about 6 of them. And they're just kind of walking around like making crackling noises. So they've now blocked this area. But they're not attacking or anything. And give me Einar, give me a perception check. And then I want also one from Calden as well.
Okay.
14.
That's why I got 14.
Nice. So at that moment, Einar, you start to hear the shuffling of something at this door, and there's like a looking around, kind of hiding. Calden, you see like a table beside you, maybe right here, full of there's like empty vials, and they're all empty vials, and also there's you notice that this room is full of barrels, and remember they look like, as you're scanning around, not that this isn't necessarily important right now, but they are full of wine. There are small casks and full casks of wine, and then there's also these vats, and you realize there's also these empty, a few empty vials on the table, and kind of bending over from sniffing, or not even sniffing, but just looking, they look like they could have been healing potions that were emptied out. And that's what you got. And then and so that Einar, that's what you got. And from your perception, Einar, you hear the shuffling around that door. You don't know how many of them are out there, but you got 14, so I say it sounds like it's at least 3.
They have
Okay.
us. They have us surrounded. They
Yeah.
know we're here.
I should have gone out and just
Backtracking,
fireballed them.
like as I opened up and I saw that, you could see the immediate like like a VHF reversing, like
Like in Jaws.
Yeah.
Yeah. That famous scene. Yeah.
I said,
Okay.
I have an idea. Tav probably told us about the empty casks, so I'm like, everyone, find the cask. So I'm going to turn around, and it looks like the room with the empty casks is right behind us.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go like get into an empty cask and just like bunker down.
Nice. So he goes in there.
Snake.
Elder's like,
snake.
I'll follow you. Being like, yeah, like Dwarven, she's like, yeah, let's do that. Bavo's like, kind of like following Einar's lead and just kind of hiding out from the room, kind of looking around. He can't fit in any of the barrels.
Do your best.
He goes, gosh, I can't fit in any of these. What about the vats outside? I guess I could. I think
Don't
this
take
one's
the
empty. The empty one? Maybe the empty one.
Just jump in something.
You sure?
Positive.
So Babo runs up. There's like a stairway to kind of. He's like, I'll just get in. One's big enough, and it's like they're 12 foot, so they're pretty high. And he just comes up and he goes, oh, and he jumps in, and as he hears a crunch, he goes, oh no! And you hear like stuff moving around it, and you hear Babo swinging, clink, clink. Oh, they're in here! They're in here!
All right, DM. Is
Roll
there?
for initiative. There's 3 in the that.
Oh, Bavo. That's a
Had an
Bavo
idea.
move.
Bravo.
That's why I asked you. I was like, should I go in there? You're like, positive.
What are they doing in there?
Oh no!
It's kind of funny.
That's the best initiative roll I think I've had in a while. 21.
4.
Oh yeah, initiative.
Okay.
Sorry.
Low rolling.
19.
So as Babo yells out that it creates a bit of sound, and at that moment, some of the doors start to. Now this door probably is not open as Tav is backing away, and they should be able to just bust right in. But since it opens outwardly, they're kind of clamoring. They're not that smart, so there's a moment where they're not like necessarily opening the door. You just start to hear them kind of clamoring against it. Maybe they'll figure it out, but right now you just start to hear the scratching of those twiggy claws against the doors. Yep, and so let me go to hold your. I know some of you rolled. Let me get to my spot here, and then we'll to run this encounter. I know I heard different rolls. Boom. Einar heard what? 20.
21.
21. Okay, Calden?
19.
19. Nice, not bad. So the way I've been doing this when players aren't here, the way I work, I like this. What I've been trying to do is it doesn't always work, but the goal is to force you guys. It's essentially these characters are free. They're free. What do you call it? Advantage. But you gotta figure out. Because what we do is what happens when we start to like think in our mind's eye, we start to forget about these characters being here. And it's hard for me as a DM too to like figure out what Bavo and Eldith are doing at every given moment. So what I actually kind of turn some of that power over to the players is at any given time on anybody's turn, Josh could say, you know what, as I make this attack, as I'm playing my song and as I'm playing Shatter, what if Bavo leaps across and grabs one of the creatures? Oh, that's really cool. Now Bavo's being used in some way, and then you get advantage on whatever you're doing. Or the creature gets disadvantage on saving throws or whatever it may be. But the characters can only be used once every full turn, right? So if Josh used Bavo, then Calden can't use Bavo. But then Calden could use Eldith. All right, cool. Tav, what you got for
4.
me? 4. All right, I think that, and I'm missing. Yeah, I think that's everybody. And then, All right, Einar. So in this moment, as you hear the commotion inside that vat, what do you do?
So can I assume that I'm pretty well hidden? Like,
You're pretty well hidden. So I would actually say nobody knows where you are. I wouldn't even need you to roll for these things to not know that you're here. You and
So-
Eldathar are hidden.
can I see anything yet? Like, I don't know if I don't
would
think I can
imagine-
see any yet.
It's kind of dark. It's a little bit hazy, but there's rafters in this room where almost like a skylight where there's a little bit of light left and maybe some of that fuzz in the sky. It's definitely getting dark because the sun is dropping in the sky. But you can see the barrels in this room because the doorway is open. And you can see the barrel that Bavo is in. You can hear his commotion, but you can't see quite what's happening. And from the skittering, you can tell that whatever is outside is definitely in here with you as well.
All right. So I'm going to hold my action, and as soon as I get sight of one of the branch wraiths, then I'm going to toss a hand axe.
Okay,
Just
gotcha. So
hold the
and I
action.
also will say this, guys. I know it's kind of hard to see, but imagine that this little dotted line that runs across here. There are. This is a second level, so it's like there's a second balcony. So if you go up these stairs, also you can use that balcony overhead, about 15 feet up. Okay, perfect. So he's setting his reaction. Calden.
Okay. So I don't see. Oh, that's the other room. I do see them surrounding Bavo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, that's more than 5 feet. That ain't gonna work. I will. I guess the nearest one to me that's attacking Bavo. I will use. I think I'm gonna save that. Yeah, I'll just use a Sacred Flame for now. That's
Sacred Flame on who? Where are you using?
oh yeah, so there you go, that one. The nearest.
These
one
guys.
right there.
Now remember,
right
they're in
there.
the barrel, so you'd have to move upstairs, which you have space.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
So from
you're right.
here, you can see down. So you move up to the second level. I know it's hard to see from here.
Yeah, I
but
understand.
you'd be moving
now. I got
upwards.
it.
You'd literally be on a platform,
Gotcha. Okay, so perfect. If I'm right there,
kind of
Then I
looking
can
down
actually-
into.
then I will do. I will take that back. I will do a channel. I grab my holy symbol and light start to come from my eyes, and I cast a channel divinity, a radiance of the dawn.
Okay.
So all opponents within 30 feet of me must make a con save.
So you can do. You're doing this from downstairs.
Yeah,
Or upstairs.
sorry.
Okay. Yep. Okay, that's fine. So they'll make their
That's-
con save. Uh-oh. And for
It's
this,
15.
for the sake of time, I'm going to treat all of them as one group.
Okay.
Of twig blights. They rolled a 15. I don't think they're
So
any
it's-
higher than that. Let me check.
Okay,
really
so they take
quickly.
half damage then. Okay. I'll roll that.
They get a +1 on con.
Okay. I'll just roll 1.
Yeah.
7 plus 8. 15. So 7 points of radiant damage.
So 7 points.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, I didn't do +5. So yeah, 7 plus 5 is, and then half that.
6.
6.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So so what was the name of the move? What was the spell again?
Oh, this is Radiance of the Dawn.
Right.
It's my channel.
So
divinity.
do you imagine, like, does it like wither them? What would it look like as it takes effect?
Yeah, so it radiates from me and just the whole room just goes all, and all of a sudden
Right.
it's just
So as
Yeah.
this brightness goes off and the creatures are within, even through the seams, that magic seeps through the seams of the barrel, and
you
they
go.
all see it, and two of them just explode into like dry sticks, leaving only one kind of raggedy one on its, like, with its legs blown off, holding on and fighting against Einar. I mean,
Okay.
Einar just, I don't want to keep saying that, Babo. So I was like, And so as that happens, let's see, we move to, so the one that's left in fighting Babo, it's going to go for a strike. What happens here, since it's fighting Babo, is if I strike his armor, which I know, I think Babo, I'm going to say it's with his shield, I think he's like 18. Can't imagine. If I can hit that, then you can't use him for advantage this turn. It's not going to do it. Twig Blight is kind of clawing at Bavo. Nothing is working. Then the next group. So suddenly, this door bursts open as this group kind of starts to try to push in. But it's pretty much just clogging the artery of the doorway there. I think only 2 can get to Tav, so those 2 will strike.
Can they see Tav?
Oh yeah, that's true. No, they can't. But based on rules, they just get disadvantaged. So they're just
Okay.
clawing away.
So that they're like, there's something that's in the way.
Yeah, there's like, because as they kind of push in, as he's there, they just like, they all like push against each other. So he rolled a 16, that's not going to stand. Rolled an 18, so he takes the 16 stands. 16, 17, 18, 19 is the hit. And then the second one, it's a 13 and an 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So 18 and 11.
The 11 will not hit.
11 will not hit. And then the damage will be not much, 1d4 plus 1, 4 damage to to Tav.
Yeah.
As just Babo's on the brain today. As the characters are just kind of like, as these things are just clawing away. As they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jeez, they all went together. It's literally 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then it's Tav's turn.
So as they're pushing in, I start swinging back. So the first one that comes in, it scratches me. I clock him right in the head.
Yep. So and now does invisible leave when after you finish attacking, or no?
No, it says a target becomes invisible until the spell ends. So I've got to stop concentration.
Oh,
and I'm going to give you advantage on your attack since they can't see you.
All right.
So they'd have to break my concentration to reveal him.
17.
That's going to hit.
And second strike.
He's gonna just murder all of these things.
No, he just rolled 2 nat 1s.
Oh wow!
He's Snake Eyes.
I'm never paying attention to the rolls in roll 20. I can't put my trust in roll 20 rolls.
I have rolled 4 nat 20 or nat 1s this game. 4 nat 1s.
That's crazy. So did you not kill any of them? You didn't hit any of them.
So I hit one, and then flurry of blows.
Yeah, it was nat 1.
Well, that was my extra attack, so this is my flurry of blows. And
I ended up getting an overhead light so I could really light this table up.
does 11 hit?
11 just misses.
Just misses. So 17 and 19.
All right, those will hit.
And 14 total damage.
So 14 total damage.
Yeah.
And with these blights, I'm gonna do what do you call it? Carryover.
Yeah.
Cleave.
Cleave.
Yes. So how much total?
14.
14. So that's gonna be.
So overwhelmed from the sheer just mass of them going through the door as I'm trying to fight them back.
Jeez. Describe as you murder through the 6 that are walking through the door. You just plow through.
So the first one that scratched me, a fist right in the head, the side of the head, and it flops down. The second one, I punch in the gut, trying to break it in half.
Nice. So they all go down. And at that moment, there is some skittering at the back door, and they've used up all their movement this door bursts open, and there's 3 standing in that doorway, following Tav, and then after
Can I see those from where I am, or is there a wall in the way?
There's kind of a wall here, so I feel like your vision is pretty limited to this area right now.
Right.
Einar, peeking through. So I don't think you can, but you can probably hear a bunch of commotion. This door finally bursts open. They figure it out, and they just move in, and you start to see them try to swarm in on Calden. Only one of them getting an attack. This rate, it rolls a 2. So Calden sees it coming. He turns, the door bursts open. Speaking of, what does he call it? God, I was saying, what's our movie that we were talking about? The Ash
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
Even like kind of like the pushing on the door as the zombies are kind of
Yeah.
walking in and the leaves are kind of blowing by. So they come in and they do not hit Calden. Eldith was not used this round, so we're moving to the next. She's still hiding with Einar. We're to the top of the second round as Einar, you're still in you were waiting. I know you were waiting for that reaction.
Yep.
You didn't see anything, so it's your turn again.
All right, I'm going to.
And you hear
Pop-
Eldith going like, "Should we just stay here? And what are we doing?"
Don't worry, I've got this. So I jump out of the barrel and I run to that door where they I get in the weeds with them.
Okay.
And then as I drop my concentration, have just sees himself smoke back, fading back into being able to see himself.
Yep.
I am in the midst of them going to cast Thunderwave.
Nice.
Thunderwave at first level.
First level, Thunderwave. You got it. And then I need to make a con check, right? Or wow. So Aaron gave me these dice and they roll incredibly. Aaron has been like, Cypher is like against you guys now. Nat 20. So I'll still take half damage. Still half damage.
So that's 6 damage overall.
Okay, that still kills. I'm rounding some of the damage up. That kills 2 of them. So you blow a bunch of them away as this sound goes out. Boom! Force wave slams a bunch of them against the wall as they explode, tears the door off the hinges. It drops down there in the hallway. Now, as you're standing there, Einar, you also look. You can naturally can't help but look to your left and see that there's like a natural. There's an open area in the back here with like a little paddock. Like it's about 5 feet off the ground going around, and you see a cart sitting there, and you can hear the horses neighing in a stable next door. And this is probably where they transport the wine, in and out of the of the docking kind of bay. And from outside in the area, Einar, you can't help but see the trees shuffling as a few more are emerging.
Boy, Faye.
All right. As my bonus action, I am going to just sing a little ditty. Lathander is good. Lathander is great. Lathander burns people on their face, and bardic inspire.
Nice. So now it is Calden's turn.
Cool. All right. And that inspired for me as well.
You are inspired.
Ah. All right. And that was is that D4? What is that again?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah. Okay. So I will. Those blights that are right next to me. How many are within 5 feet of me? 1 or 2, or all?
Oh, with the blights, they're all within 10 feet of you.
Okay, and any
One
of them
right
within.
in front of.
Okay, so I'll move right towards them. So they're all within 5 feet.
Yep. Oh,
And
you need them to be within 5 because there's also a barrow here, and so you got about 5. Like you're kind of pushing because anything beyond these guys, they're really 10 feet. I mean, these guys are 10 feet away from you.
yeah, the back one. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
That's fine. So if I can get 2, if I can, then great. I'll do. Calden grabs his holy symbol once again, and he casts a word of radiance. So you see this radiant divine energy just start to pulsate out of his body, and then out towards him.
Nice.
And that is a Constitution save.
What I'll do is I'll give you one of them, but if it does enough damage to cleave, it'll carry over.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
So Constitution save, yeah.
Oh, 10. Probably not
All right.
good enough.
So
Yep. So
fifth level.
Good luck right out.
9 points of radiant damage.
That'll kill 2 of them. So,
Nice.
So 2 of them just kind of blow away as more light is emanating from Calden's very form, and as it does, it's just boom. I mean, it's not a sound. I guess there's no sound that really comes in, but it's just that light that just emanates for a second there as they blow away. And the scratching is kind of stopped because there's not very many of them in the room with you there. And you can hear that the few outside are more around the roll. You can't really hear them moving beyond the pattering of the range. So it gets quiet for a moment. And I imagine even Bobble has finished off one of them that's in there. Just, he's like,
Okay.
I'm okay. And as Bobble says that, suddenly the floor, the entire staircase here just splinters, boom, and just blows away into shards of wood. These busting kind of a couple of the two carriers of wine kind of collapse, and wine starts to pour and splash all around the ground, and something rises out of the floor. It kind of creates a huge space here that leads to like a negative space, kind of like a under the floorboards. And this some kind of plant creature kind of climbs into the room and it's kind of floating, and in one of its it looks like almost like a decrepit flower. These weird, almost beautiful, almost like tulip type protrusions from the top of its head, writhing tentacles, almost like a beholder, but no eyes. But you can, instead of eyes, you can see skulls floating and being carried around inside of its plant-like gelatinous form. One of the tendrils is holding a corpse, a dead body, and it just picks the body up like it was pulling it out of the soil, as the soil is kind of dripping off of it, and it shoves the body inside of it, and the body gets absorbed. And now this has entered the battle. It is its turn, and so it will strike out 5 feet away to Calden. And so one of the tendrils are striking out.
If you need to, you can add that inspiration to your AC.
I will.
So 15, does that hit you?
No, it does not.
It does not.
I have 16.
All right, nice. Second attack. It's a natural 1. So it smashes again, like Calden moves out of the way. And because of the natural 1, it like snatches up one of the twig blights and throws it, and it smashes against the wall. And the third strike, that's a 21.
Yeah, that hits, even with the bonus. Yeah.
And so that one hits and does 10 damage. And then you need to give me a Constitution save.
Constitution save. Okay. 16.
16. You did pass. And so as it slaps, as the thing slaps you and kind of grabs you and throws you against the wall, you feel like the slime on you, and some of the slime where it grabbed you just touched your robe. But the smell of it lets you know that something's wrong with it, like in that it didn't get on you. It could have even maybe been poison.
Okay.
The creature is done. As we move to whatever twig blights are left.
Was that 10 damage? I'm sorry?
10 damage, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
And these creatures are just kind of actually, these twig blights actually do not move that 30. I think they only move 20 speed. So yeah, they're moving very slowly as they are barely on the docks. This one, it's not his turn. Actually, it would be his turn. So he'll move around and strike at Einar. 13, 16 Einar.
Doesn't hit.
Doesn't hit. So whapping against the door frame, completely missing. And then we move all the way down to Taff.
No. As you hear when the caskets break apart.
Yeah, he's hearing like all that wine splashing, like all this wine.
Just
Tab comes in the room drinking it off the ground.
You will pay, as you hear, and then Tab jumps up and is unleashing all his fury on this weird-looking plant creature.
Nice. And you're going. Oh, yep. So going in.
14.
So, all right, and 14 will. Drum roll, please. Give me 1 second here. We'll hit.
Will hit.
Yes.
20.
20 damage.
No, 20.
Oh, 20, 20 will hit. Yes, that will
Yeah.
hit as well.
And then flurry of blows.
Okay.
So in total, 14 damage.
Okay. How to hit? Sorry, how much damage?
14.
14. Okay, I'll take it. All right.
And make a con save.
Okay. Con save, corpse. 7.
It becomes stunned.
Okay. And stun does what? Would I lose again?
You cannot take you skip a turn.
Okay, gotcha. Jeez.
So I basically used all my key points there. Everything was just in that fury. He just unloaded everything.
So he just comes and it's you like punching into like you punch a couple like skulls in the mouth that are floating around in this thing. It spins around and it kind of crashes down. Like almost like it's not down, but it's like closer to the floor, and it's in the spot. And like I said, you can tell it's a bit out of it. So a quick opening and win there for the party. As we move to, let's see, creatures, Tav. So then back to the top of the round. Oh, actually, you hear some more skittering. There are more creatures approaching from this way. Round 3. Einar, you're up.
All right, I'm going to move away from the branch wraith in front of me and kind of just get like 10 feet away from it if I can.
Are you're willing to take the opportunity of attack?
I'll take it.
Got it. 12, 30, 40, 15. Does not hit you. Yep.
And then I'm going to yell out, Eldith, get out here and give this thing the meanest face you can give.
You don't have to ask me twice. And just sort of comes bowling through the doorway with her shield kind of smashing through. At this point, Bavo he's just jumped out of the top of that thing and come down the stairs. Eldith is standing there mean mugging this twig as it moves through the doorway.
And as she's mean mugging it, trying to get its attention, I'll cast Dissonant Whispers behind its back at 3rd level.
Nice. And so what does it need to do? Does it need to save?
Takes a Wisdom saving throw.
All right, probably not high on these things.
DC 14.
I got 10. Not gonna make it. So the creature kind of turns around like, what was that?
And so that is 17 psychic damage.
So boof! So it just like blows away. So the rain is going and that thing just is gone. Now it would have done carryover damage to the others, but only when they're close. So that one is just literally just obliterated. Yeah, it went back to soil.
And so seeing such a great and mighty explosion, once again going to use my bonus action to throw another Bardic Inspiration out to Calden.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lathander is great, Lathander is good.
His eyes start to glow when he hears it. All right, thank you. So Calden, he needs to get out of dodge before he does it. He moved back a little bit into that room where the tables are.
Now, Calden, and you start your turn. At the beginning of your turn, you need to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I know you didn't know about this. It's just
No,
because.
it's fine.
Yep.
11.
All right, so
Is it plus
So
2?
you are
11. Yeah.
you are incapacitated to the end of your next turn. So suddenly what happens is this overwhelming stench you start to catch coming off of this creature just intoxicates you.
Okay.
Are you, unless you're immune to poison?
No.
Yep. And so if you were past, you realize you haven't passed it, so you're incapacitated. So you all see as he kind of moves towards the door, he kind of like starts to cough, and he kind of like drops down on his knees, and he's like coughing, and you start to even Tav sees this thing kind of belching out like little green mist.
Gelden.
Now, stun means I can't take any of my turn, right? So no bonus actions.
No
nothing.
reactions.
No. Okay.
But you're back on your feet.
Yeah. So he's the thing is kind of slowly starting to like float back up. As it's floating back up, some of its vines are pulling on the floorboards and breaking them. It moved to the twig blights. It moved 10.
Thank you for that stun. That put me in a bad position.
Oh man.
They actually
Being
Yeah, I would've been-
incapacitated? That's nasty.
Right next to him. Yeah. Little cleric.
So the twig blights move in. More twig blights move in.
Oh boy.
At this point, it is Tav's turn.
All right.
Tav, give me a Constitution check.
Because I punched it.
Yeah, so basically you're starting to, because if you're starting your turn within its radius, you start to feel that gas is kicking out on you as well, just like it was on Calden.
Natural 20.
Nice. So you see him like, how do you what do? Do you hold your breath? Do you
So
kind of talk?
So is this stuff like, is it part of the wine?
It's like in that last, it's the pollen. It's like this thing is just shooting, like the little flowers are shooting out pollen, and it stinks. And as it cascades down, you breathe it, and it just messes you up.
I take my cask and I pour it on my head. So you see the cask overhead, and
Wine is the cure-all to everything.
yeah, it's the cure-all to everything. And I'm just looking at this thing with fury, and it's like, no.
All right. As that is happening, Tav, it's your turn. You have completely and by the way, I think by beating it, you are now immune to it.
Okay.
So you won't be affected by it in subsequent.
All right. Well, just continuing the onslaught as it gets back up. Oh no, you're not getting back up.
I love and hate monks at the same time.
They're so. Oh man, I have a
like they
monk on my
literally,
team.
you can't have boss fights. So you let a monk get in close, and you're just like,
Yeah. I have a Kensei monk in my campaign, and he just destroys my encounters. It's great. So I basically yell out to Bavo, "Help me out here!"
All right,
Yeah.
Bavo leaps into the fray and starts slashing at the tentacles on this thing.
Okay.
And I got a 4,
Okay, that's gonna miss.
19,
That's gonna hit.
and 25. A nat 20.
Gonna hit.
Jeez.
So 9 and 13. So no, actually no, it's 9 and 4. So yeah, 13 damage in total.
13 total damage. All right, it will take it. So you're like slashing this thing. You cut one of the vines off. You notice it like slams against the ground, but another vine kind of grows out of it. Not that you get the feeling that it is, because it's definitely like anguish. It's spurting out some kind of, liquid ichor that would, normally almost like aloe vera,
Mhm.
but like a darker color of it. So you definitely know that you're hurting it, but it's also trying to like malform and, correct itself and stay alive.
Mm.
All right, so it looks hurt, but still in good fighting spirit. So good stuff, Tab. Is that the end of your turn?
That is it.
All right, we're top of the next round then. Einar, it's on you.
All right, so I am going to
Oh, and
run
I'm
up.
gonna say, sorry, the only thing I'll say before that is there's 3 more that appear at this doorway.
I'm going to run up to the large creature, and I am going to, wave my hands and then clap and cast thunderclap.
Okay, you also need to give me a Constitution save.
Oh,
You're within 10 feet of it.
let's do con
Doesn't he get advantage because he's a dwarf?
Yes,
I have resistance.
It is poison, so yes. So you get advantage, right?
All right. So DC 14 Constitution. It also must make a Constitution save for the Thunder Wave.
Oh, yes. Fair enough. It rolled. Uh, 14. It just hit 14.
That just meets it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means it.
Yeah, and that
So
does
half
nothing.
still, right? Oh,
No.
no.
Thunder
cantrip.
clap is a cantrip.
Oh, thunder clap. Okay, so yeah, so as he blasts it, and so what'd you get on your con save?
19.
Okay, so yeah, you're pushing past it. Nothing's not taking any damage. Calden is Calden, you're incapacitated, right?
Yeah.
So end of your next round, so you can't do anything right now. So then it is the creature's turn.
Which is a problem.
The creature is going to use it can spider climb. So with its tentacles, it starts to climb up the side of the wall. Now I do understand were you giving me 5? You're within attack range, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to elevate itself, kind of like using the tentacles to latch onto the balcony on one side and the wall on the other side. It's essentially going upward, but not as high as you see it there, right? It's
Right.
really like right there. So yes, you will get your opportunity of attack, not Bobble, but you guys. But it is going to, get its attacks. So you guys can get your opportunity of attacks first.
All right.
That's a 16 to hit.
22
Nice.
to hit.
That's all hit.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'll tell you right now, but based on you guys have been hitting it, so anything 14 or up hits.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's 9 slashing damage.
Oh, I'm
Or
sorry.
bludgeoning.
Actually, I'll say 12 and up hits the creature. 12 and up. 9 slashing damage
And 4 bludgeoning.
and 4 bludgeoning. You said?
Yep.
So you're starting to hack at it. You see some of the skulls falling out of this thing. And suddenly, Tav, give me just a quick perception. Actually, what's your natural perception for you and Einar?
14.
14.
Okay, so that's pretty good enough. So both of you, as this thing is kind of climbing up the wall, you can see that inside this gelatinous area, there are corpses floating around inside of it. And suddenly you see one of them like almost like it's draining the juice out of this thing, and then one of its kennels like slings a corpse, goes flying out of it and slams against the body. It's just like a wet, decayed skeleton. Like it ate up the rest of the meat that was on it. And you can tell, both of you, that it fed off that corpse and gave itself some life.
Oh.
7. So it regained 11 hit points.
Oh.
So one corpse is kind of going to float, and that's a bonus action. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let me do that again. I did 2d8s. It's 2d10. So 3 more. It gets 3 more back than it would have gotten. All right. And then it starts lashing out. Because of it only got so high, it has a reach of 10. It's just slapping down. It raised just enough to stay within striking distance of you all. And so 1 slap for each. The first one's going to go to Calden.
Okay.
18. Is a strike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 5 damage. Only 5 damage. And a Constitution save.
I mean,
I'll tell you, you need to beat 14.
Okay.
Speed.
16. Thank goodness for that.
Nice. So you just get slapped against the wall again. And then it strikes at Tav. 21.
Ooh. Yep.
And then damage, and you need to make a Constitution save.
I don't need to, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you don't. So just 10 damage as it slaps you against the wall.
Oh.
Brace it, like.
An attack against Einar. 20. A dirty 20.
Yeah, it hits.
9 damage. for that,
Ugh.
and then a Constitution save. Because I don't think you beat the. Did you beat the Constitution save last time?
He beat it.
Oh, you did. So then you don't need to make the.
Okay.
I think that's what. Wait. No. So I'm sorry. Both of you do need to make the Constitution save. So the Constitution save that you guys beat is for the stench.
Mhm.
If you beat that, you don't have to take it anymore. This is a save that you need to make every time you get slapped by a tentacle,
And it is poison damage.
and it's a Constitution save. You need to hit 14 or more. Yeah. So the one that you beat, Tav, was for the stench.
All right, I
Yeah.
rolled a 5.
Okay. So then you take 4d6 damage. Jesus.
So with the resistances, do I just take? I have advantage on saving throws against poison and resistance against poison. So is this another poison?
So it's another poison. So you
All
get
right.
advantage on that. Yep.
That's a nat 20.
All right. And Tav took 16 damage. 16 extra damage.
16.
Oof. How you doing?
Poison damage.
3 HP.
And you are
Oh.
considered. Yeah. So and you're not considered poison, but you just take the 16 poison damage.
Jeez.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we got a problem.
What'd you get, Einar?
Nat 20.
Okay, good. You're good. You don't take any halves. So the creature is done as the twig blights begin to kind of move in.
Ugh.
These ones move in and they're trying to like hem up. So I'm not even gonna roll for them, but I'm gonna imagine what they're doing is they're just hemming up Eldith. So she's just busy fighting everything at the door. These kind of move in.
Whew.
So one attack for Calden and one for 10.
Okay.
13, I don't think that's going to hit you.
No.
And 11 and it's not going to hit Tav, right? So the twig bites aren't really doing it. They could score a pretty nasty shot, but they're probably not. They're probably the least of your concerns as they kind of pour in.
Aren't they like 3 feet tall or something?
Yeah, they're like pretty little, but mine
they're
are like
small.
they're like humanoid size. So mine are like more
Okay.
like 5.5 feet, like humanoid. Like mine are the ideas of kind of gothic, you know, I don't know if that's not a word, gothicized them, so that they're more like they look like decrepit like zombies, but made out of like dry
Gotcha.
wood. Yeah,
That's cool.
that's the way I'm kind of imagining they look like. Okay, and it's on Tav.
Okay. So I strike out against the twig blight that just charged me.
So now here's the okay, got it. I was about to say, are you? So now there's still a balcony, but there's no stairs to it. So you literally have to jump. It's about 10 feet off the ground, and so like I said, he's still like right around here.
Right. Let's see. My second strike, 24. So 4 damage to the twig blight.
All right, he's dead.
And for my bonus action, I'm just gonna try and get onto the second floor.
Okay, is that a bonus? So it's a bonus action that would just give me an athletics check, and it just needs to beat.
Can it be
pretty simple
acrobatics?
I mean, that's what I meant. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
acrobatics. And so it's 10 feet up. You're pretty good at what you do. We'll say it's a DC 10 check.
Okay. 20.
There you go. So you just like he just cartwheels and backflips,
And I-
landing on the second level.
Yep. Looking all roughed up and stuff, still staring at this tentacle fuck.
Nice. So Tav is up there, like facing off with this thing.
I feel like we're in Innsmouth.
At that moment, Eldith continues to fire off some shots. And since we haven't used Eldith, what I'm going to actually do is, I think she has like a +8 strike or something like that. So yeah, that's going to hit. So she's going to kill these 3. And she's like watching the door as, you know, outside looking for any more to come as we move into our third round. Einar, you're up. Or I think it might be fourth turn. Einar, you're up.
All right, I'm going to shout, Bravo! I need you. Distract it. Throw your blade at it. Do something to assist me. I'm going to cast an old favorite.
You got it. And so Bavo, Bavo kind of like is starting to climb as best as he can up the side of like one of the pillars, the wooden pillars on the place, his clawed hands. And then what are you doing?
I'm going to cast Shatter at 3rd level.
Nice. And so as you cast Shatter, Bavo leaps out and opens up and just blows fire on this thing as he's like kind of straight out as he's dropping towards the ground.
I just needed him to distract it.
So that gives him disadvantage on the save, right, for Shatter?
Hopefully.
I'll take it. So I rolled a 7 and a 19. So it will take the 7. And what's the what kind of save is it? Con?
Con 14.
7. 10, it misses. I mean, so it's going to take it. So it turns, so like the tentacles kind of turn towards Bavo, and the fire is kind of whipping across it. And imagine even some of that fire damage, because it's plant, you hear it kind of like squealing from like inside. It doesn't have a mouth, but there's sound emanating from it. And then the boom of Shatter smashes into it as skulls begin to rain off of it. Go ahead and give me damage.
That's a 13 thunder damage.
Jeez. Gonna take it.
And I'm gonna imagine that I put the point like inside where I saw the corpses is where I had the point of origin.
Nice. So give me it's gonna be high, but give me an Arcana check.
Oh.
And if you can hit it, then what I'm asking for, maybe you'll do a little more damage.
Not that one.
No.
No.
Kind of blasting from inside of it, the sound coming from inside. It manages to like kind of wrap itself and like kind of keep itself inside. And you saw that like, what I'll tell you is what you saw is that as it kind of pulled itself apart for a second, that gelatinous nature, there are only so many bodies inside of it. And so one of them was falling out of it that it wouldn't have use of for nutrients. And one of those tentacles grabbed it, snatched it right back in, and then it came back together. And now inside of this gelatinous nature, you can see like all of the vines kind of connecting to it. And inside you can see that one figure kind of floating as though it's like the nucleus of the creature. And its eyes like start to glow red from inside, like a skeleton inside of the gelatinous plant. And all of the little things are kind of kicking off.
And I'm going to bonus action my final bardic inspiration out to Calden. Get up, Lathander calls you to get up.
Nice. Calden, you have not passed the spawn checks. You got to give me a constitution.
All right, I'm doing it.
This is crazy, too, because if he would have passed it already, Calden would be destroying this thing.
Oh, with fire? Yeah, on plants.
You can add the inspiration to your ability check.
Nice. There you go.
It's 15.
That beats it.
Yeah.
So.
About time. Thank you.
Burn it, brother.
As Calden stands up, and
you guys are literally fighting like COVID.
Yeah, pretty much.
For people at home, I'm just making light. I know it's a very serious matter, but sometimes I have to just laugh at it.
Oh no!
Oh my
I know.
gosh, jeez.
Yeah.
Humor gets you through things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Calden looks up, and flames start to come out of his eyes, and he starts with his hands. 3 balls of flame start to come out in between them, and he goes like this, and each ball of flame shoots a ray of scorching ray at it. And I roll for each one, and I get a +7 for each roll, which is pretty damn good.
That's pretty damn good. You know, you got to get 12 or more, so it's pretty
12 or more. Okay. 2 of them hit. I believe yes.
Yes.
3 plus no. So 26 and 14. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I will do that. There we go. So one of them does 7 points of fire damage, and the other one does 9 points of fire damage.
Nice.
Are those
And
double?
the 9s, those are double.
Yeah.
14
Oh,
and
they're
18.
double. Oh, wow. Wow. Nice.
So the thing starts to squeal and like smash into the sides of the balcony. The balcony kind of starts to move a little bit and buckle under its pressure.
And as a bonus action, I'm gonna do spiritual weapon. Same
nice.
thing. A flaming hammer from above, and that's an attack. Yeah.
So the spiritual weapon comes down. Flying in.
But I missed. I got a 9 hit. Flaming hammer missed.
Yeah. So your flaming hammer kind of comes on and smash it, cuts off one of the flowers, but that doesn't like really attach to the creature, so it doesn't like give it any damage. But
It's still there, though.
you can now tell that the creature is. That's actually pretty cool. It used to didn't do this, but now. That was weird. Okay, so
Ghosts.
yeah, I know. I don't know if I heard that in my ear or like. So now on D&D Beyond, when the creature gets beyond a certain level, their hit points turn red. So just let you know he's flashing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the creature's turn, so it starts to bonus action eating one of its corpse. There's a 4. A 1. That's not good enough, but it'll take it. So you see it
Trying
like
to heal that flank
kind of
fire.
healing, yeah. And then it spits out another corpse, and another one drops out. So because they're swirling around there, it's hard to see how many are left. But Calden just got the last hit. Calden, why don't you give me a perception check? So you know there's one at the center of it. So trying to see the others swirling and get an idea. Oh, yeah. Did you give me what
13.
you gave me? 13? Okay, so you're able to see that there's like 3 other corpses swirling around the one. So there's about 4 corpses left inside of this thing. And then it lashes out with its tentacles to all 3 of you. Same thing. So Calden first with a 20, undirty 20, not a nat.
Darn.
And give me a Constitution save.
Okay.
Wow, at least the main attack was only a 2 plus 4 damage on the tentacle attack.
Okay, 16.
16
For
so
the,
you're
for the
okay.
Constitution thing.
For the Constitution, so only 4 damage, whipping you. Then it turns and trying to rake across. So these 2 attacks are both for Taff.
Oh boy, of course.
One's a miss. 14, does that hit?
Nope.
Yes.
16 is my AC, baby.
It missed all of its attacks. So it is at that point, some of these guys pour in enough to get to Einar and to kind of start to clog the room. This one, so these are just the twigs. So twigs attacking Calden, the one that's there.
Okay.
12, no.
No.
Nope. And then 1 for Einar. I don't even know what I rolled there. 10, 13, nope.
Nope.
And then we're on Taff.
So literally, as it like flails its 2 other tentacles at me, I duck and weave into it, get close to it. 1 hit, 2 hit. Let's see.
Just went from gothic horror to anime. I feel like
That's
Tab turns every episode into a manga. It's a full-on Japanime.
So
Shonen Angel protagonist.
Gosh, you guys got me sweating. I've gone through a half a bottle of Monkey Shoulder on this episode.
Second cup of coffee.
Nice.
1 hits, I do 5 bludgeoning damage,
It takes it.
and my last key point, stunning strike.
There it is.
Roll a con save.
Con save. 12.
14 was the DC.
All right.
So that 1 hit, hitting its core, like where that skeleton that's attached to all those vines, hitting it dead center in its chest.
Nice. So almost like your fist goes through and like clips the like rib cage of this creature, and it kind of like floats back, kind of like tearing away from some of the things that were holding on to it of nutrients. Is there any other damage you do to it, or is that it?
That was it.
That was it. Okay.
The 5
But
bludgeoning
it is starting to like kind of looking weak. It looks like it's holding on to the sides of the room, like it almost wants to let go. Yeah, and it's actually, you know what? From that hit, it kind of just lets go and slams down. So it just kind of moves closer. It's in the middle of the room now. So you're standing above it on the second floor, Tav, as it kind of crashes down. Still spider. It didn't go down into the cellar area, but it's still holding on to the sides of the walls. Skulls floating around, looking at everyone. We're top of the round 5. This could be it. Einar, it's on you.
I look at the thing as it hits the ground, and I start strumming a melody and speaking, "I have broken things much greater than you.
Nice.
and finally cast Shatter at 2nd level.
Jeez. All right. It fails.
So that's 14 thunder damage aiming at the center once again. I'm going to free all those that you have captured. Monster.
Boom. Give me another Arcana check to see if you can hit that middle.
That's a 6.
6. So still holding on in there, kind of keeping itself together. You feel like if you could hit it, you could just really do some major damage.
The 14 thunder damage was from the
For the 40.
Shatter.
So it's looking weak. Kind of collapses some more. Called, unless you're doing anything else for a bonus action, it's on Calden.
No, but Calden's got it.
Yeah, I think so. Before Tav, how are you? You're pretty hurt though, but
I have 3 hit points, but I'm okay.
okay. All right.
Burn it.
Well, all right. Same thing. Scorching Ray again. Here we go. Let's do it.
Finish it.
2 hit.
2?
Yeah. So yeah, 2. 1,
2 hit.
22.
Okay, 2 hit. Yeah.
2 of them out the 3 rays. Sorry. Yeah.
Got it.
1 15 and 1 22.
All right.
All right. Here we go. All right. So 8 points of fire damage, and the other one 7 points of fire damage.
Double
So
them both.
Double them. All right.
Oh shit! Yeah.
30 damage.
Higher.
And 30. So how much total?
30.
So that is so 14 plus.
Yeah. How do you do it? How do you do it?
I just as the 2 rays shoot, I call up, Morning Lord, smite thee! And these 2 rays just and it just consumes and envelops the.
So there's
plant.
there's just a shot from outside, the quiet from like the distance of the vineyards. You can see the vineyards, a little bit of wind, the pattering of the rain, and boom, boom, boom. The tops, those rays blast off the tops through the top of the winery. So like we were seeing a shot, we see them boom, 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 kind of like disturbing the peace, and then back inside, the creature just kind of starts to collapse. Gelatinous pieces slam against all the walls. Tentacles splash onto one of the big tentacles. Einar catches it in his arms. Babo catches the skulls are smattering all over the place, and the one skeleton in the middle just slams down on the ground in a bunch of bones and gelatinous mess. And this thing is no more. And the blast itself, just whether they give up or they go back to the earth, the rest of the twig blights just blast away. And in that moment, it's just kind of quiet. And you guys have finished off this thing that just came out of and devastated the floorboards areas. And Calden, as you're standing there, kind of covered in this just gunk, you look down, and under the floorboards you can see that under the floorboards there in the wet soil there were bodies, a few of them. For the moment, immediately it makes you think of the Mardikovs. Like, could this be the family? But then you realize, like, they're not. These aren't freshly decayed. They're kind of old bones in the earth. But that's what you see. And as we kind of pull back on the scene, as everyone's kind of collecting themselves, take it away, party. Where are we at right now, and what do we want to do next? And to also clue you in before I share this, since we are about to close out the episode very soon. This thing came out. We've fought a bunch of twig blights. Calden had saw these vats. Some of them were full of fresh wine. There were also some on that table was collapsed, and there were some bottles. They've since broken in from the battle. But there were those bottles you saw as well. And then there are the rest of the bottles. All the fresh wine is still intact. There are literally crates of this stuff. And then you also do know outside. You do know there are horses on premise, and you also know there's a carriage. So,
okay.
All right. I think we have defeated this beast, and we have the means to transport the wine. What of it survives? back.
Right.
Lucky.
Yeah, he will be pleased. And DM, if I heard correctly, so the little bottles, those are all gone, right? No
They're all
investigation.
they were. There was nothing in them. They were kind of dried up, and like they had a smell from your perception that you gave me, based on what you rolled. You got a hint because you've all taken healing potions. You got the hint of the smell, the waft of a hint of a healing potion from those bottles. Yeah, but they were empty. So whatever that means.
Gotcha. I walk up to Tav and put my hand on the shoulder, cure wounds. Why
and
not?
Tav does the same to you.
Cool.
Heals you a bit, but it's not that much. It's just kind of like a sign of just like
I hear you.
respect.
Yeah, 6 points. There you go.
You heal 5 points.
Cool.
That was well done, Keldon.
Same to you. I wish I was not knocked out for so long, but Golden kind of tries to get the ichor off him a little bit more. The smell's just pungent.
Note to DM: use more creatures that incapacitate Calden.
There you go.
Because I need him incapacitated as long as possible.
That's right.
That fight would have been so
quick. So quick. You too. If I can.
I was starting to feel like Eldith on our very first battle, where she was just like, "I want to fight. I want to swing my sword. I want to." Yeah.
After that, Tav proceeds to get the barrels and fill it up, preparing to reap his bounty.
Nice. So if I had to go back to actually, so would you say that then Calden is packing all this shit up on the
Yeah. And humor me, DM. If I do investigation, there's nothing around what's left, nothing special or magical.
You guys can spend more time looking. The upper levels have not been checked.
Okay.
I'll tell you, what I'll do is instead of dungeon crawling every single room, what I'll ask you is, are you willing to spend the time to walk through the rest of the rooms? And then what I'll do is when the episode is over, I will actually inform you on everything that you guys found. Because I think for the sake of it, there is some stuff that I'll give you, but I don't think it necessarily advances the story.
Okay.
Yeah. There's actually no. Give me. No. I'm wrong about that. Give me an investigation check. Actually, if you all are going to investigate the second floor, why don't you all give me an investigation check?
Okay.
All right.
But I'll say unless Tav, you know what? No, not let you sit this one out because I imagine you're too busy filling the part.
I'm getting all the barrels. Don't worry about it.
He's very preoccupied with the alcohol.
Yeah. And you can see that he's really happily lifting the barrels and stuff. You can't even tell that he had this intense fight a moment ago.
17.
Okay.
Mine is a 12.
Okay. So long story short, I may share more information with you between now and the next episode, but I would say as you guys walk the halls, you start to see on the second floor that there are markings, kind of like graffiti, carved into the walls that Calden realizes come from are druidic in nature. But the symbols seem to be somewhat perverse, as though these druids worship nature, but from a dark standpoint.
So like a corrupted form of nature or something.
Yes. And then it is Einar who, as you're crawling through the second floor, finds a room. And it almost gives you chills as there's just a corner room on the second floor towards the rear side that is empty, and there's just a chair there. And there's a dried blood all on the floor around that chair. And there's a loose rope. And as you look around the room, you just get the feeling that someone tortured someone in that chair, beat someone. And you also get the feeling that there's different rooms in the house. One of the rooms could be for maybe a daughter. Another one speaks highly of maybe having a young man live there, a young boy. And then the room that room where the beating looks like it takes place looks like it's adjacent to a room that was probably whoever is the kind of patriarch of the family, the father's room. If you investigate the father's room, you find signs that the mother maybe it's notes, maybe it's, you just find signs that the mother's been gone for a while. So there was just a father. And so if you think about Davian being the head of this family, it could be, who knows, it could be him, could be his son, could be his daughter. But someone was beaten pretty badly in that room. Later, Calden goes downstairs and finds a cellar. Now, when you find the cellar, as you like light a light in your hand, you realize you would need to spend more time here. It goes a bit deep, but in the next 20, 30 minutes, you find out that it looks like, as it goes down there, that these druidic cultists or whoever they were like spending time down here. There's like bones and wood, and there's like antlers, you know, laying around in a circle and a weird scribe. And some of their symbols speak to Strahd. I don't know how you know, but maybe like some of their symbols, every 3 or 4 symbols, one of them looks like it might be a symbol of Strahd, or what you decipher as a symbol of Strahd. And that's all you find as of right now. If there's anything else, I will share that later.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So now, party, filling up. You've got all your wine. There were 2 horses in the stables that Tav was able to pull around and connect to our little cart full of. I'll give you exactly how many barrels. I want to say there's like at least 6 barrels of wine, 6 or 7 barrels of wine that could fit on this cart. There's a lot of happy, people that would be happy to get it. I'm going to retcon this a bit, but I'll share it. You don't have to, but I actually forgot to share it. But Lavash, when he gave you that cloak, he appreciates you. He also said if you do get a chance to, the Vistani they've been depressed because there's no wine. So he was like, if you could spare him any wine as well. Not that he knows, he's just like, he just mentioned that they don't have wine. So it doesn't mean he asked you to go get him wine, but that's just something I'll add, that
Okay.
they're in need of wine as well. And you guys have a pretty decent amount that you're able to fit. I will get particulars soon. So you guys have definitely stocked up on the wine.
I would probably save him like 1 cask.
Yeah.
Yeah, full cask, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's my little hitch, a little cart.
Nice.
Okay. So as you guys are gathering these things together, I'll turn over to you guys. I actually want to know your last moments or thoughts like we normally do. How do you want to like round out and end the episode, as characters?
Calden looks at the winery and hopes we can maybe in the future figure out what happened to these people, and he looks at his companions and he's just pleased they're there. He's with them. Keeps to himself. This is what he thinks. Doesn't say anything. But hopefully this will get us one step to stick it in Strahd's face.
Yeah.
Einar is, of course, well pleased that we have conquered yet another foe. Loves a good fight and loves when we win and don't die. He is very glad to get this wine back. He's glad the Vistani are open to his entreaties. He is somewhat worried about getting the winery back open because this haul will only last so long, and now there's a supply problem with the winery being destroyed. He's disturbed by finding the torture room, and will definitely investigate further when the time is right.
Right.
Combining what he found with what Calden found and forming a hypothesis as to what transpired and where the winemakers have gone.
Nice. So
yeah, and I'm sorry, and I totally forgot this. Not to over, and the druid, the dark druid, or whatever you want to call it, that was a little disturbing. This is definitely something not natural. That I guess Calden would know. This is that a druid would pursue or engage in. It doesn't, and the Strahd symbols, obviously, that's frightening. And something needs to be investigated in the future.
So Calden is thinking we need to reinvestigate what's going on with these druids. And now, would that be, you say in the future, so not now, like, would you be trying to find out where these druids went now? Like, would that be something permanent, or would the first party I'm hearing get the wine back to Vallaki? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's a good question, friends.
Av's last moments is he's already on the cart, and he's in the direction of Vallaki with a big old grin on his face, happy to share the wine and have a bunch of smiles and laughs.
How far is this travel again,
A
DM?
day?
About 8 hours. And so, like, you guys just got there, so now it's night. It's like you always did this in about 9 at night, so you literally have this cart of wine and this open darkness spanning out before you.
I'm gonna say we stay here over the night and then we investigate overnight because we don't want to travel at night.
That now that it's night, that really changes everything. I agree. Yeah.
Chad was fully committed to just get back with the wine at that point. And
We got the wine, buddy.
Einar is like patting his shoulder like, buddy.
Not a good idea. Do you see the sun? I do not see the sun.
Let's just say the dire wolves will be the least of our problems. Probably.
And he lets go of the reins reluctantly.
Nice. And so I imagine like all this stuff is packed, but it's in the stable area.
Yeah.
Av slowly closes the big like kind of barn doors. And we
wouldn't just leave it out. No.
And we just kind of see them kind of batting down the hatches for a long night's stay here on this farm, in the middle of nowhere. And so under that night sky, under like a full moon, the fog slowly settling in. None of you, in a weird, eerie way, none of you knowing whether like there's more twig blights out there because they clearly came out of the vineyard. There's a giant hole we're pushing on, and that's on the first floor. That's like where there's dead bodies in there. Where do you guys hold up in? What room do you make
Second
your
floor,
base?
the family's rooms.
Maybe the family room.
I'd say we find the most spacious room that isn't the torture room, and we kind of like huddle together, kind of like find comfortable places to lay down.
At least I have my wine.
It's a homey place.
So all of you look, and imagine like whether it be like not a fire that you set or just whatever light maybe that Calden's creating that's creating a light in that room for you.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll take it and then cast the light on it. Cantrip.
Camera slowly goes around, and you all look at each other and ready to ride the night out. And you all either think or say one thing, and I'll go around and just so you can all just think or say one thing, and then we're gonna end it. I know everything else you gave me was more about strategy, like what's next. This is more so character, just the brain fart of your character, like what first thing that comes to their brain.
Calden closes his eyes and prays and asks the Morning Lord that, please, this is one step to taking out Strahd. This will progress us further in that mission, in that goal, in the ultimate goal, and that we will find. Not only will this help the innkeepers, but also we can find the bones.
Yeah. And so he prays. He waits for an answer.
Yeah.
Einar very quietly plays just a song of goodbye, a quiet campfire night song to banish the darkness of this place, just to lift everyone's spirits and to help some gently fall asleep if anyone's having trouble.
Yeah. Nice. And so he plays, and you all feel a little bit uplifted because Einar, you've gotten very close to him, and Bavo kind of nods his head to the song like it's very good, and Eldith kind of relaxes a bit, leans against her shield, and closes her eyes for a second. And Taff.
Av looks up and looks down at a party that he's known for a while. He says, after this is over, I think I would like to own a brewery. Settle down.
And then he leans back, and in his mind he thinks, if I'm still alive.
Yeah.
And he kind of leans and looks out the window. As Tav looks out the window, he thinks, pushing close on that road out there, that road that leads out of the vineyard. It's not that he sees anything. It's not even that you really feel it, but he knows. Calden's in there praying. He looks out the window. Einar's in there playing. He's looking out that window. And you all know, as you push in on what's out there, something is out there. Crash to black. Credits. Thank you guys for playing.
Thank you.
Dark Shadowdaze.
Yeah.
Good game, guys. Good game.
That was very fun. It was very fun.
Very fun game. You know, sometimes I actually appreciate these smaller group games because they allow like just a lot of inner between like 2 or 3 characters. It's almost like it's if you. I always like to take everything back to like when you look at shows. You always have a show where the ensemble, there's always episodes where they break them down to like 2 or 3 where you can focus on a few characters and watch them build. Then you go back to the big group and it helps you kind of reaffirm the relationship of the entire party. So it always works.
I think everyone got a chance that was here to shine a bit at one point or two.
Yes. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you, Remy. Hopefully you got all of that.
We got it.
Hopefully it's still enjoyable episodes for you as you have to sit there and listen.
No, it's great. It's great.
Oh man. So yeah, I don't know if you. So there's what's funny is there's literally another party, and they're about a day ahead of them. So today's episode was weird because I had to also not know where the other party is going to be within the next day. So it's going to be. It's gonna be interesting. There's some good stuff. There's some good stuff about to happen pretty soon here.
It seems almost like they will soon. I'm like completely in the dark now, unless I turn.
Oh yeah. No, it's okay.
It seems like they'll soon maybe be running into each other.
I think we're gonna have a run into. So
earlier in this session, like they're doing the same quest as you, but they're just being real slow. I was like, oh, are we gonna like literally see them there?
So I'll tell you this. Based on next week, whatever happens on my next Saturday game, you guys might be seeing them like immediately. Like the next game, it might be a big party game.
Dude.
Because last episode that we talked, they were on their way to the winery.
Oh god!
So we're in there and they're coming.
That's what could be. Could be. Yeah.
Oh
I don't want to share too much. I understand. Yeah, I want you guys to be mulling over like, oh shit.
The good thing we're getting a long rest right now because we're gonna need it because we got bones to pick. Multiple bones to pick.
This is going to be a long 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
PvP, or are they like are you guys friendly enough that they wouldn't be like a straight out attack?
I don't know them, but they do.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I watched one session with the other party, and I just remember Strahd like put his arms around them and was like, "You guys are my homies," and then they were like, "Bye," and I was like, "Ah."
They kind of left me to die.
Yeah.
So that was
one of them. I would say though, you all would probably agree. Ellen is probably the one that is the anchor point that is somewhere in between. Is not I at least the last time you saw Ellen, which is Colin's character, I don't think he wanted to murder the party, but I think he was at odds with certain things. And here's the thing, rightfully so, because me being on the outside DM looking in, there were points where I feel like when we were talking, me and Colin, Ellen did not understand how easily you guys fell back into trusting Eldith after she murdered everybody. Now, that's different from Einar, because Einar wasn't there.
Still not. Literally, no one has ever taken the time to tell Einar.
And he was like, we're still friends.
Yeah.
So I think Ellen was like kind of shocked and thrown off by that. And I think his character is also just tired of being kicked around by like the Raven Queen. I feel like he feels like if I've got a master to serve, how much different is the Raven Queen? She pretty much made us all die or got a way to get us all finagle to get us all here. And she's telling us he's the ultimate evil. And he's like, I don't really know who the ultimate evil is, you know? So that's me interpreting. That's not necessarily what he said. So don't take that.
Right.
Take it as a grain of salt. But good stuff.
Tav also wasn't a part of the whole Eldith killing everybody, so he also doesn't know.
Yeah, Tav wasn't there either because you were playing it. You were playing your shooter. You were playing your.
I was playing Fate.
crew.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So it makes sense.
The only like few party members that actually weren't, part of that.
I was about to say, no one's ever sat